Headquarters bound, I'm Ethan Hunt, I'm after you. Can't make a sound, I'm toast if I'm found, and I'm hanging from the roof. My face is a fake, the knock list I'll take. I'm Ethan Hunt, I'm after you. Entire team slain, fight John Voight on a train, and I'm hanging from the roof.
Nice, dude.
They're getting better.
They really are.
I'm legit impressed.
I like it when I can tell what song it is.
I know. My favorite, I think, that I've ever done, not quality-wise, but just your reaction, was when we did Hedwig, and I did break stuff, and you were like, no. You've sullied this fucking movie. No.
And welcome to the Nostalgia Killers podcast, where we revisit films from our youth to see if they still hold up or should be inserted into the great DVD player in the sky. I'm Luc Londe, joined once again, almost as always, with Chuck Starzenski.
Sometimes always, sometimes never, Chuck Starzenski.
Almost sometimes always is Javier Martinez.
Believe it or not, they're still letting me here. So thanks, guys.
And we have our very special guest, Redneck Demon Slayer from TikTok.
I got really messed up parents.
Kevin, is it Bordi or Bordi?
Bordi,
all right.
Kevin Bordi, the guy who brought cookies.
A professional would have asked you that before we started recording. And we watched the first Mission Impossible.
Woo!
And we're no longer putting the trailer in.
Oh,
just for
then I will not woo.
Just for the moment, it's fine. We'll cut this part out.
Okay.
I noticed that people were getting copyright slaps on YouTube.
Oh.
So we can't do that anymore.
Do we want to improvise the trailer?
If you want to, that'd be great. But we can't put the video on. That's the thing. The audio was fine.
Okay.
But now that we're doing video, we can't just play the trailer because it's copyrighted.
Oh, okay. I can
which is stupid. But yeah. Do you have do you want to give it a shot?
Okay. Does someone want to do the Okay, there we go.
This is how we do it. We just spitball everything right here.
Ethan Hunt was a guy of many faces until his team all got smushed at the same time. Everyone's dead! They're all dead! It's Kittredge. That's fun.
That's nice. We'll probably get flagged for that. But it's good. Awesome. Well, I have a pretty good. I was happy when this came up because I had actually watched it the day before you mentioned you wanted to watch it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to watch the new one, so I was kind of going through the series, which I haven't done yet. But yeah.
You haven't gone through all of them yet?
Not in preparation. I'm not ready to see the new one yet. I want to go through all of them.
No,
I know this, even the horrible ones. But
you're not going to be reckoning the dead just yet?
Not yet, no.
Got some catching up to do?
Yeah. But how about you, Kevin? Let's start with you since you picked it. Nostalgia-wise, what's the...
Yeah, no. So this one's a little weird because I grew up as a big James Bond fan. Like, it was James Bond family. I think it was on TNT. They would have, like...
all the time.
Bond 24/7, like, during the summer, winter. I don't remember when. Loved James Bond. When I was a kid, I remember watching this movie and not understanding a damn thing. I couldn't understand it because it wasn't written out. Like, there's no moment where a guy just grandstands the entire synopsis of the evil plan all at once. Like, this actually has subtlety and thought and not a ton of gratuitous action sequences, just like two. And I remember as a kid not really understanding that. My appreciation of this movie came after seeing the second movie. And going back and watching the first one and going, oh my God, this movie was amazing. I should have appreciated it a lot more when it came out. I was a fool to poo-poo it because it didn't have a fancy British man.
Huh?
Didn't know what you had.
Exactly. God.
What'd you have here?
So yeah, funny enough, I actually saw the first Mission Impossible I ever saw was Mission Impossible 3. I don't usually do that with movies. Like, I don't just jump in the middle of a franchise. I'll usually, do my research. So I'm not sure why. I can't for the life of me remember why I chose to go watch Mission Impossible 3 that day.
So did you like the first one better than 3 and 2?
I did not.
Oh.
But and I think that's probably because my Mission Impossible quote quote was MI3, and everything since then has kind of been that kind of style.
All right.
So it was so I remember after I saw the third one in theaters, like I was like, oh, this is really cool. I should go watch number 1 and 2. And I went back and watched them, and I was like,
You're like, this is archaic as fuck.
I'm like, yeah. But I was like, interesting, Yeah, and the second one was just a John Woo movie, So it wasn't even a Mission Impossible; it was just a John Woo movie. So
The third one was so good.
I fucking love that.
love
To
it.
this day, it's still it's probably my favorite one.
It's one of the most brutal openings to a Mission Impossible movie ever.
Yeah. Yep.
How about you, Chuck?
Yeah, I was 7 when this came out, so did not see it in theaters. Didn't have like a huge attachment to it. Had more attachment to like the shitty N64 game.
Oh god!
Like I rented that from Blockbuster, and so like that is more my Mission Impossible.
Nice.
That being said, though, growing up, this was one of those quintessential TV movies. Much like you said, Bond on TNT. This bad boy was on TBS all the time. You flip around, you end up watching like the last 30 minutes of it, like you're just like doing laundry or something. You're like, oh, James Bond. It's like, no, Mission Impossible. Oh, okay. But yeah, I actually. Fun fact, I don't think I've ever seen this entire film until we did the podcast.
Oh, right.
Just because I've just seen, like, it is like, it's like, well, we got like 20 minutes till like the takeout guy's here. And it's like, I'll watch the train scene. I'll watch the drop, like that kind of thing. And then you're like, oh, you like get distracted. But there's so many moments during this rewatch where I was confused by the order of events because I was so used to like seeing it a certain way.
The train's at the end.
I know, exactly. I was blown away. I legit had like a knee slapping, like, oh snap, John Voight's not dead moment when I was watching this with my wife, and she was baffled. Like she looked over at me and like, are you a child? No, he's not dead. Why would he be dead? This is a movie. Like I was like, oh. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, for being like a 30-year-old cultural zeitgeist, this was a fun watch.
So, side note, to watch this film, I had to watch it on a streaming service that didn't have to rent it or buy it or own it. It was legal. I did it legally. It was a legal streaming service. I will not name it, but it was available and free. But it came with ads.
Torrent.
Mm-hmm. And here's the part that got scary, was that I was like, oh my God, there are commercials. Am I watching like a made-for-TV version of Mission Impossible? This is the work. And then Spike in the face saw the whole thing, and I'm like, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
I've never been more relieved to see a man get a spike in the face. Like, it was just, oh, thank God.
Yeah, I saw this right after it came out as a rental. I didn't see it in theaters, but I watched it, back when you rented stuff on VHS and DVD and stuff. But I loved it right away. I think I was 17. So it was like the first serious spy movie to come out in a long time.
Mm.
And I just fell in love with it. And I've always liked it. I watch it all the time.
Yeah.
It's my background noise.
There's just so many good moments in this movie. It flies.
Yeah.
I'm really happy I rewatched it.
Nice. Speaking of good moments, do you want to hit us with some?
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, we're all gonna say it, but I mean, the location green, the scene in the aquarium restaurant is so good. Every single thing about that scene, the way he walks up to it, the way it's presented, it doesn't look real. It looks fake from the beginning, and you're sitting in your seat like, why is this uneasy feeling? In every shot, you can see people like they're almost not worried about centering it on the person that is communicating information. They're always like, oh yeah, let's get this person over his shoulder. Let's get this other person. And then the Dutch angles come out.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like,
and that score comes in, and you're just like, something is very wrong. I love it. I love the way that scene makes me feel.
Yeah, we have a friend that we went to film school with who was like, I don't know if he still is, but he was obsessed with the Dutch angle. So like every time I see one, I'm like, oh, Mikey.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, this was like Dutch angle city. It was like every other scene was just like, why is Ethan at a 45? What the fuck is going on?
And it's always either like looking slightly up or slightly down.
With it being Brian De Palma, I forgive it.
Yes.
It's from the old school. No, it's not somebody from film school who learned what it was and like, I want to use that in every fucking shot. Because this was, I trust it was used on purpose.
Yes.
Like, and well. So, but yeah, I did notice that rewatching it. I was like, there's a lot of that here.
When I think it was always when it was meant for you to feel confused when you were when people were being stodgy with their information, like when he first meets Max.
Yeah, that's what they teach you in film school. It's like it's when something's going wrong. But yeah, it's
problem is when your entire student film is Dutch angles. That's what it's like.
Not a single straight angle. For me, the elevator kill. That's like,
Ooh.
I remember watching this the first time going, I'm going to remember this forever, and I'm never going to sit on top of a fucking elevator for any reason.
No.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, for me, that feeling is Speed. Like the intro, the cold open of the movie Speed.
I don't remember that one.
Oh, yeah.
I remember.
Oh, it's just high stakes trying to get hostages out of it, like suspended elevator, and it's just and like, Keanu dives on. No, but Keanu, you're gonna get crushed, and you're just like, it's a nail biter.
But then Dennis Hopper puts a knife in that guy's ear.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry, we're gonna do Speed. We'll get to the movie too one day, but yeah. But for me, I mean, it's like, it's fish in a barrel. The whole entire fucking Quantico scene, like the entire file heist, where every single beat is played out beautifully and meticulously. Like you get the setup of everything that could go wrong with the false, alarm from the condensation of the cup and all of that foreshadowed into the scene later. And then you have the actual heist itself with the false fire alarms and like I love they do a fake out where you're like, oh, that guy's Tom Cruise. That guy's totally Tom. And then all of a sudden, like, camera does a pan, and you're like, oh, son of a bitch. I was waiting for the mask pull. And then, it's just masterful. And then, like, the poisoning of the coffee, just everything. I mean, that entire drop shot is just like a masterclass in filmmaking. Like, I love something I didn't catch until this time around, probably because it was, actually fucking watching it. But the entire drop sequence, there's not a sound.
Oh.
It's just the dead silence.
So good. So good.
But I mean, not even like, I don't even know if there's fucking room tone. Like, it's just...
No, they should have put room tone, but they didn't.
I know.
Which heightened it, but there was totally room tone on the day they were filming. It's like, it's ridiculous. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's one of those few times where I'm like...
And the Foley of the sound of the drop on the...
No, it's good because they could have totally had, some intense... building music, and they didn't. And silence. Silence is bliss. It works great.
Another one, personally, is just every single... I touched on it a second ago, but every single time Ethan removes his mask.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just I clap like a child, that was him. Oh my God.
That's the classic Mission Impossible thing.
Oh, I know, but it just like this one, it stuck. Like, I don't know, because I've gone back and watched, I think it was 5. I don't know. It was one of the newer franchise ones, and just like, oh, okay, well, yeah. It's like the CGI pull, it's fine.
Right, this is prosthetics.
This is all prosthetics. I think that's what got me giddy.
Yeah, this was 96, 95.
Yeah.
So, 95 technology, VFX-wise, pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I have a few notes for later, but this was seminal. Like, it was, I mean, we'll go over this later too, but it outdid Jurassic Park. It was the first film to outdo, what was the other one that got the biggest fucking Terminator 2?
Yeah.
It finally reached those. It might have had something to do with it being in over 3,000 theaters, but it did breach the, it was the next level, it was the next thing up, and it earned it, I think.
Yeah. With
the VFX, the story, I love this film.
There's a bug in my drink.
Oh, that's the protein.
Just pull the bug out of my drink.
Sorry about that.
Why did you put a bug in that drink? I'm going to mention this multiple times.
I'm going to say so I can track you.
Rat in the vent.
Yeah.
That's you know what? It's a cliche, but God, I love it. I love watching it. I love watching that chunky little rat just fearlessly claw his way to Jean Reno.
And what did he do to kill it? Did he bite it? Did he handle it?
I don't know.
That's the you have to wonder.
I feel so bad for the rat because it's there's no reason for him to be there.
It's somebody's pet.
He
got away.
He's so happy to just jaunt on up to him.
Oh, there's a person.
You almost expect Patton Oswalt's voice. I'm gonna teach you how to be the best double agent in all of Paris.
Also, why is there a rat to begin with? Because it's It's not like it's the prison break scene in Kev earlier or anything like that. It's like, it's fucking Quantico. This is like the CIA.
One of the most locked down buildings.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Probably one of the most
rats.
sterile, clean buildings in existence.
Yeah. No, that's one plot hole.
Oh no, we're not done talking about this round. I have a few moments.
Oh, go for it.
No.
Oh,
We'll get to it.
Right on.
Reoccurring plot note. Yep.
Rewatching it, I liked the. I've over quarantine, I got into like sleight of hand and magic, and going back over this, the disc swap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That could be done easily with movie tricks, but according to everybody, it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a real like thing Tom Cruise did.
That sounds like a Tom Cruise thing.
I was going to say, the fact that Tom Cruise knows magic is the least shocking Tom Cruise fact I've ever heard in my life.
But it's still a gimmick.
Yeah.
But it's like a string pull attached to the disc. It just flings back to his jacket when he's doing it. But it still looks pretty fucking good.
Yeah. It still plays off.
But yeah, that's one thing I remember. And then the handing it off to Luther at that moment shifts the whole trust.
Yeah.
Like the region of trust within the group to Luther. So watching it now, understanding themes and how movies are made and stuff, that's pretty damn big.
Yeah.
Big moment.
Yeah, I had the. I had all those scenes. All those scenes are great, obviously, and if you like, we're all going to say pretty much the same thing for the most part. But the obviously the train scene, at the very end, and even more so for me because again, we'll get more into this, but I wasn't having a blast watching this movie. It was fine. And so, and again, I'd seen it.
This is what I expected from you. It's fine.
It's again, but and again, I've seen it one time before today. Before this. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I haven't rewatched it since then. And so like I remember there being a train scene, but I remember that it just comes the fuck out of nowhere. Just gets up like train. I was like, oh shit, this is it. Like okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Cool. Fuck yeah. So, that just like shot my adrenaline up, and I was like, yeah, cool.
It's such a slap in the face because there's no like huge action. There's no car chases. There's no all of the tense scenes are quiet and low music, and it's just situational. And this is just we're flying on a train. We're throwing ourselves across the like.
It almost feels like it's like out of a different movie, but not in a weird way.
Well,
like,
I would say that's Brian De Palma.
Yeah,
that's because he's from the old school. This is the only Mission Impossible he made. So everything after it's much more Tom Cruise and stuff. But yeah, it's very much the intense scenes are the quiet parts.
Yeah,
exactly. And it's also very De Palma to just like breadcrumb, and then it's like big grand finale, basically.
Yeah.
And then nobody touched on it yet, so I'm just gonna jump in. The fucking intro sequence, the trailer-esque like intro, where you actually get the lighting of the fuse, and then it's like it feels like a bad like movie teaser. Like you get all these scenes that like if you were to like just really slow it down and watch every other frame, like you'd get the entire plot of the film. It's just
they do that on every Mission Impossible movie.
I know, but still, this is the one that starts that. But still, it's that thing where you're like, wow, this is so fucking campy and fun.
Yeah.
And then you get into a dead ass, Brian De Palma movie where it's like, all right, nuance, and I have to really kind of look for motifs and all this. Okay, this is like some fucking work.
Yeah.
But like that first little campy intro is like you get that little kiss of what's to come.
It's the American James Bond, like you guys are saying. It's they needed to compete.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of anime. I don't know if you knew that, but I watched a lot of anime, and the most popular anime of the last 10, 15 years, they all do that. If you're ever sitting down and watching an anime and you watch the intro, you can actually learn so many spoilers. It's almost too much at some points where it's just like, all right, this is fun, but now I know that guy dies.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Won't get invested in him.
I definitely got that when I was watching Chainsaw Man. I was just like, oh. Because there was like certain characters I was like, well, when the fuck are they going to show up? And then I'm like, oh, we're at like episode. Okay. Nope. Bad things they're going to become because bad things are going to happen. Okay.
I read the manga. You have no idea. I know. You have no idea. It's brutal.
Anybody got some more?
Any more positives?
Favorites?
This isn't really a scene. I just really like, and I'm not saying it's good. I just enjoy it the same way that I enjoy some things. The technology shown in this movie, it's very old timey, early 90s style, where it says internet connection.
Oh yeah.
Because they were just like, look, the audience we don't have time to just guide everyone through this. We just need big words so the audience can read it and understand he's writing an email.
This was the time to introduce people to it.
Yeah. But it was super funny because like I think about that old school style and then like dumbing it down for the audience, and then how there was a transition period where in real life where we needed to actually learn things about technology, and now we've come full circle because now technology is so user friendly that Apple wants every grandma, every computer illiterate person to be able to buy their products and use them successfully. Then now we're all illiterate again because our technology just does everything for us now.
I felt rewatching it that even the tech in this movie for its time was old.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe I've watched it so many times. It's just so. It's not even fantastical. It's just I need this to function to get through the movie. So here's a cool watch or whatever.
I just love the click boxes are like this big. It's like 3 inches by 2 inches. Oh, thank you.
And the visits to the payphones.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen anymore. Once the cell phone got like ubiquitous, changed the way everything worked. So you can't.
I loved how he was able to just movie magic like hack the payphones too. It's just like just gonna unscrew the receiver and like this is totally gonna somehow tap into the phone line and like just
Or I think he put in his decoder. That's the only way.
Just like a little scrambler kind of thing.
He could speak.
It's like a water filter but for a phone.
Exactly.
Just right in there. Also, old Paramount logo is so much better than the new one.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, that makes me sound like an old man. I get it. But the CG Paramount intro is nowhere near as legit as just slow fade up on the image.
Yeah.
Like, there's something about that I love.
I'm much more attached to the old Universal personally.
Yeah.
That's the one that gets me. Every time I see the old Universal, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
This is going to be great.
Remember Orion?
Yeah. Orion.
That old fucker? Yeah. That's the one I remember. Do we want to go on to
Yeah, we can
nitpicks?
move on to some nitpicks.
Nitpicks and fixes.
One of my biggest nitpick, and then again, it's mainly because, as Kevin had said, not everything is just beat over the head explained.
Yeah.
So watching it, possibly for the first time, I was like, man, Ethan is way too handsy with his dead boss's wife. It's like, this man's not even in the ground yet. And it's like, oh, you better be quiet, Claire. And like, let me find this bug on you, Claire. And it's just like oh,
There you go.
calm down, Tommy, calm down.
Yeah, that was their version of sexual tension in the 90s.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, for sure.
Just
For sure.
awkward groping, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my biggest one, was just like, does she like I was like, is there any sexual chemistry or tension? I understand it's Tom Cruise and it's really hard for him.
Yeah, she's
as an actor, but
she's running through the 5 stages of grief or whatever.
Exactly.
And the whole time he's got her on the bed and like,
Yeah, he's trying to get her shirt off and she's in bartering. She's like, well, what if I...
Not a good look.
And what's nuts is that he's just like hands over your head, so her arms are up like this, and he's just grabbing her around the waist. And there's a giant crucifix over the bed, and there's this weird lighting. He's in like an A tank or like a
Just
white
tank
t-shirt
top, yeah.
or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
Look like something out of like Streetcar Named Desire. So the sweat grab.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great idea. It's a great moment, and maybe. I mean, no, because actually, if I'm remembering it correctly, the camera's on the side when the hand comes in. But there is so much distance between the hand in the ground and the hand in the face.
The geology
that,
doesn't work.
If he was just inches off the floor, which is a great stunt,
Yeah.
great stunt moment, because he actually did it, it would have to just come straight in like this.
Yeah.
But that doesn't. It's a little.
It looks like he's doing this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's Jurassic Park. It's the T-Rex paddock. Hey, it was solid ground. Now it's a cliff. Let's move on.
It's just, yeah.
But that is something I noticed. And the rope pull after that was a little much because it was like he couldn't do it, and then out of nowhere he could just go on
rips him
light
up.
speed and just fling him up to the ceiling.
I love Jean Reno, but he's nowhere near built enough to look like someone who can do that by hand. Just pull a full-grown man. There's no. It's not like there's like their pulleys are 1-to-1. There's no 1-to-2 or anything. He doesn't have any help with that. He's carrying the entire weight of Ethan in his arms.
But it is Tom Cruise. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
He's
he's a king, but he's a short king.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would still have
A petite
problems doing
prince,
that.
if you will.
I would have problems doing that with a child.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, but
Hey,
I have a 4-year-old and I can tell you, yes. I can check.
Well, that's why you weren't recruited.
I guess. That's why I'm disavowed.
While we're on rope semantics, yeah, again, like we already touched on a little bit, but yeah, the fucking rat. How did he kill the rat while suspending Ethan? And he's like, like we already touched on, he's struggling to suspend Ethan.
Well,
it's
he had
like,
to. There's a cutaway. He doesn't show it, but the entire time is Ethan falling.
Yeah.
So in that time, did he just let go
and just kill the rat, run back?
Go back to the rope? Or did he like one hand slowly let it out, grab rat, bite?
I'm pretty sure it was a headbutt. He like between
Just headbutted
him and the vent. Yeah, that's
Thumbnail.
for sure.
I love the notion of just like, I need 2 hands to kill this rat. I can't do it with the one.
I don't know. You see, like as Ethan's falling, he's free falling.
Yeah.
So I'm like, did he just fucking let go?
Imagine if Cronenberg made this movie. You'd get a really visceral, we get a 20-minute scene of him killing the rat.
Yeah.
Skinning it.
Yeah, exactly. We'd be in the vent, and Ethan would just like pull himself up and be like, "Oh, I got the disc. We're good."
The rope's just tied around Jarl's neck.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
He's pulling himself up.
Exactly.
The rat's like, whoo.
These are this is a very minor nitpick. The cleanest air vents.
Oh,
in
yeah.
The guy was in there polishing them that day. Like, they are perfect and smooth, and somehow there's a rat living in there.
Yeah, what's that
There's
rat
not-
living on?
There's not rat shit all over the place. There's not, it's just a perfectly clean. It's just the first rat that's ever been in there, and he's so excited.
But as a diehard Metal Gear Solid fan, this movie, it definitely like the vent crawling and the rat in the vent and like all of that, and just was like, oh, Hideo, you love this. It was one of those like, Mr. Kojima. Yeah, I'm seeing
Hanging
everything
upside
here.
down, holding the breath, just
Exactly.
holding all these things, just trying to stay still. Oh yeah, and one more, and this isn't actually like a movie. This is just a character logistic thing. I know we don't know who Ethan Hunt is because this is our first introduction to him. He wasn't a character in the original show. He's a brand new character for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But Kittredge knows Ethan Hunt. He knows him pretty well.
Yeah.
He knows him pretty well that when he says go to this location, he chooses a highly volatile spot for someone he knows to be potentially highly volatile, especially if he's thinking that he murdered his entire team. So it's just like, yes, I need to negotiate with the bull. We'll do the negotiation in the China shop.
China shop, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great moment. It's a great stunt. That logic of Kittredge, I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's
Why would
that
you do
classic public breakup logic. It's like, well, they're not going to cry if I dump them in the middle of the restaurant.
We'll get him surrounded by spies and water.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They could only do that stunt once, I was reading.
Yeah.
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 One time. That's why his face looks like that when he's running out. Just like, oh shit.
I got the helicopter in the tunnel at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Very unrealistic. Obscenely unrealistic.
Oh, yeah.
But I would not change that for the world. However, when Tom Cruise goes red light, green light, and Jim can fucking hear him, I'm taking out the movie. That's just too far.
Yeah.
That's it. Sorry. That's dumb. You pushed it too far, Brian. Just no.
I liked it when it was no dialogue. Like when he hooks the thing, it just goes, ah! That was all we need. We're getting feeling. We're telling a story. We're seeing it unravel. Like, it's all we need. We don't need callbacks. We don't need... Like, like if he said, like, this is for Emilio Estevez, like, I'd forgive it a little more.
Right.
See, it's funny because my entire, quote, quote, nitpicks for this movie are, again, I think it's just because I was introduced to Mission Impossible through Mission Impossible 3. So my nitpicks for this movie are my argument against Fast and the Furious, but like in reverse. Right? Right? Like I grew up with Fast and the Furious 1, and so it's progressively gotten worse for me, and I'm just like, fucking over it. I hate it. So, but for me, it's like, oh, I grew up with this Mission Impossible, so to go back and watch this, it just, it was slow, it was outdated, it was like, and again, I'm not, I don't think, I can't fault the movie because that's when it came out, it came out in 96, and like
it's an older director, and it's a completely different movie from all the other series.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That's totally understandable.
But it just, so I guess they just the whole, the pacing and like the slow burn aspect of it versus like now it's like, da, 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 stunt, 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 So I was like, oh, okay, like, this is a different kind of movie, you know, or also again the exact same thing for. I saw the original Mad Maxes, and then I saw Fury Road, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" So, I'm just gonna summarize my nitpicks as that as like it was a different movie than the Mission Impossibles that I remember.
Sure.
So
I would say that this is the first one, and considering all the rewrites for the script, they were just figuring out how to make this.
Sure.
The TV show was on in the *60s.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I can totally see. I mean, it's a completely different film from the rest in the series.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I still like it.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the other ones. So.
Yeah. right. Yeah. That's not bad. It's not bad. It's just, I'm like, oh, okay, like, it was fine. It was fine.
I was going to say, that's episode 168. Huh?
Yeah.
We gotta get through 2 first.
We'll do one episode where we chain everybody down and talk about all 9 of them.
Yeah. Before we move on from nitpicks, I got one major one that I want to touch on before I forget. John Voight. He's a great actor. But casting in this, he's just like, he's way too old, first of all, for Emmanuel Berard. And then also, he's just too old to be a convincing physical adversary for Ethan, too.
Yeah, I was noticing that in the train fight.
Yeah, the train fight where it's like I understand he's he's a spy and he's trained in Krav Maga and all this crazy shit probably. Right. But how is he getting anything in on like a 29-year-old? Like that kind of thing where it's like, come the fuck on. That being said, not to sound like an ageist, if you're going to cast like kind of a cunning older dude like that, Dennis Hopper. Give me like a fucking like powder keg wild card where I'm like, well, Dennis Hopper's going to bite me. So like... He's
busy...
Like Dennis Hopper's gonna play dirty, so it's like Dennis Hopper will definitely get the upper hand on like a spry, I do all my own stunts Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Dennis Hopper's gonna just like grab your aorta and just squeeze it. And you're like, whoa, I didn't know we could do that. No, we can do anything, boy.
This is how I say hello.
Exactly.
Could you imagine if it was Peter Graves like they intended? Oh my God, that would have been the silliest thing. Like swinging his body across the train to kick Ethan Hunt off of it and grab a cord off the helicopter. Like, it'd be the silliest thing in the world.
Got any more?
No, I think that's it.
And on to Rainy Day Pairing in a new position. This is a double feature. What would you do if you had to watch this again? What would you watch this with?
Mission Impossible 2.
All right.
Yes.
It has to. They're so insanely different.
I tried. I started watching 2 today.
It's bonkers.
Yeah.
The feeling, the tone, the music, the acting, everything, the subject matter. There's a motorcycle duel. It's the only thing I can remember about that movie I liked. But again, much like Neil Breen, I didn't like it for the right reason. And like you had mentioned earlier, it's a nice job to remember. Oh yeah, that's right. That's why we like Mission Impossible 1 so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, MI2. Yeah, that's one thing that this movie, the original is lacking in a Limp Bizkit remix of the theme song.
Well, that Metallica one, though.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I Disappear. Oh. That came out at such a pivotal age for me. It's just, as I grew up listening to, like, Metallica and, like, all of that kind of, like, lack of a better term, kind of more butt rock, like, radio rock kind of stuff. And that was when I was like, I was a diehard Metallica fan, and then I Disappear came out. And I was like, maybe the tides be changing.
I would also, I think, because this isn't Tom Cruise's first action movie, because technically, Top Gun,
The Firm.
Interview with a Vampire.
The Firm. It's pretty action-packed.
I mean, it's a different kind of action. It's more of a hot and heavy action with Brad Pitt, but it's still action.
But this is the first time we've ever seen him like throwing his body around and doing crazy I don't know too much about Top Gun. I've seen the movie, but I don't know how much of the stunts they did themselves.
Other than playing football, I don't think there is that much going on.
I can't imagine why they would want to put any of those people in danger. But, just another movie where it's like this is their first real shot of being an action star. So like maybe the first time someone is a James Bond would be a good pairing, like Live and Let Die. The first Roger Moore James Bonds, or like the first Timothy Dalton one, I think is the Living Daylights. Something like that. Like you pair it with someone else's first shot, being an action hero.
The old college try.
Well, yeah, this is also Tom Cruise having to prove something. This is his first film that his production company and him as a producer made, and he wanted to be an action star. So that's exactly what you're seeing. Let's try as hard as we fucking can to make this wet napkin a fucking action star.
Yeah. They did it for Damon. Tom Cruise, maybe a little more believable.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
At least I could see stuff like the Bourne series, like they're great in some respects, and then sometimes I'm like, I can't look at the screen. No way. Like the just shaky cam. We're covering up all the imperfections. We're doing this, and it's just. Ooh. No,
3 is just that's just like writing like the fucking Tilt-A-Whirl. That's just vomit comment right there. Oh. I'm going to jump in. For mine, I'm going against grain from MI2. I'm going to go more thematically. I'm doing Enemy of the State with Will Smith.
Ooh. And Jack Black and Seth Green.
Yeah.
I was going to say Gene Hackman. And also, to tie things together even more, fucking John Voight is the villain.
John Voight, yep.
Ooh.
But yeah,
I forgot about that movie.
It's very similar stylistically as far as like trying to prove your innocence during a frame job. And it's full of like espionage. It's Will Smith creeping around. Yeah,
I watched it recently. I can say it holds up.
Nice.
And it's also, there's this underground theory that it's a continuation of The Conversation, the Gene Hackman spy movie from the 70s.
Oh, hell yeah.
So Gene Hackman's kind of like secretly reprising his role as that guy.
I haven't heard that
with
before.
The tape recorder, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if you watch it again with that vision, it's really fucking good.
Yeah.
That's such a good
That's
pairing
fun.
right there.
That's fun.
I didn't think about that, because now I'm thinking The Fugitive.
Yeah.
Like proving the innocence and stuff. I'm like, just that whole avenue I didn't think.
Fuck The Fugitive.
God
damn it.
That's a great movie.
It wasn't me. It was the one-armed man.
Exactly.
Well, I don't have The Fugitive or Enemy of the State. I have Steaming Hot Trash.
Hell
but for some
yes.
reason, I was like, yep, that's what I'm going to pop in next. It's going to be Die Another Day. Because I want more of that train scene. I want just batshit crazy shit. Like, there's the door. I'm marking it out.
Yeah.
I'm marking it out.
That's your cue.
So it's just, again, that's what I want out of my 90s spy movies.
Just a man with diamonds in his face.
Yeah. And I have a soft spot in my heart for that, just for that piece of trash, and I fucking love it. So
that's like one of the worst Bond songs I've ever one of my favorite things is I will every once in a while will go, like, I think there's a YouTube channel that just has a playlist of all the Bond songs and all the Bond intros in chronological order, and you go through them all and you can kind of see how music has kind of formed James Bond over time, and how it kind of like will circle back in on itself. Like Madonna was just on a different plane of existence. Like she was just like, I'm gonna do my own thing, and it's so choppy and weird. There's a part where she just says Sigmund Freud. Like, it doesn't make any sense. It's just like,
she's doing her Vogue thing.
Yes.
Just saying things. Yeah.
And the whole montage is just James Bond getting tortured. The song was torture.
I was like,
Oof.
Yeah. Sorry, that's what I got. That's
all
what I
good,
got.
man.
That's what I got, man.
Totally- totally makes sense.
The last 10 minutes, shoot your adrenaline up, and you're just, oh, what are we watching next? You're like, you want to see more of that shit? Yeah.
Let's go to an ice hotel.
Let's surf on waves in North Korea. Like, yeah, come on.
So I have The Professional. The theatrical release, not the director's cut. I want to make that clear.
I don't want to end up on any lists.
Yeah.
Not the director's cut.
I unwittingly downloaded the director's cut over quarantine and watched it and was fucking amazed, because I've spent my entire life with the theatrical cut going, this is a fucking awesome movie. But just Jean Reno is like one of my favorite actors of all time.
Yeah.
So I'll watch anything with him in it. And The Professional came out around the same time. Same deal. Super, someone with super secret spy powers, walking around killing people.
Yep.
But yeah, that's me.
Hell yeah. I wish Javi would have went last, because it would have been the perfect transition.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because when I think of Die Another Day, Oh, I need a fucking drink. Which leads us on to this movie's cocktail.
Here at Nostalgia Killers, we'll sell out to anyone.
Oh, 100%.
You've listened to us. All right.
Ray-Ban, throw those in the can. Give me a pair of Maui Jims any day.
This episode of the Nostalgia Killers is brought to you by the NRA.
Brought to you by the NRA and Squarespace.
You need to make a gun nut website. Squarespace is perfect.
NRA and Freshie.
Fresh, yeah. Well, I just shot this deer legally with my AR-15. I don't know what to do. Thanks to Simply Safe. I don't have to worry about anyone taking said deer. But HelloFresh has my recipes in a box ready to go.
It's just Simply Safe. I don't need to keep my gun loaded.
Exactly.
Simply safety off.
Yeah. Oh, that was good.
That's a good one.
Clever.
Remember to edit in a snare there. That was good.
Bumps.
Anyways, this movie's cocktail. We've talked about it a few times. This is just the American James Bond. Mm-hmm. Well, the American James Bond deserves his own goddamn American Vesper then. So we've got an American Vesper.
Still doesn't sound masculine.
I know, exactly. Yeah, let me get an American Vesper. Wait, little darling. What kind of... You're not twisting a Eureka lemon in there. Oh, no, sorry. No, we're doing a good old-fashioned American Meyer.
You better not be stirring that. 2 hands on the shaker.
But we have...
Served to me in the smallest glass known to man. Sorry, I'm done.
And there better not be a goddamn stem. It's in a fucking dirty coffee mug where I walk and I ain't paying for shit. Y'all better take these Cracker Barrel coupons too.
If I find a fly floating in my drink, I swear to God.
I'm gonna eat it. But we have the American Vesper. Drink at your own risk. It's fine. It's palatable. Got 1 ounce. I'll get back into my sexy cocktail voice that I do every episode for no reason. We've got 1 ounce of rye whiskey, 2 ounces of dry English gin, 1/2 ounce of a very floral white vermouth, a couple dashes of orange bitters. Shake heartily, strain into a chilled glass, and precariously dangle from the ceiling as you take beautiful little baby Ethan bird sips. If it hits the dirt, you're toast.
Yep.
Very nice.
Well, on that note,
It's really tasty too. Like I finished mine. I'm
yeah.
like,
No, it was palatable.
I'm really trying not to down mine.
Godspeed.
Yeah.
On that note, ad break.
Ad break. And we're back with Act 2, the evidence board. Trivia, making of, behind the scenes, casting alternatives. Let's go.
All right. Released in 1996, this movie cost $80 million. Went $20 million over budget. I mean, it came in budget, but under his pitch. Cruise was like, I can make this for 60.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was like, give me 20 more million. But it didn't...
See, it's under.
Yeah,
under
exactly.
budget.
But no, yeah, he got it in there. So 80 million, and then box office though was 458 million.
Worldwide.
Worldwide, yeah.
Domestic was they only made 100 over, so 180 million, but it was still fucking blown out. Amazing. Beat Jurassic Park, beat Terminator 2.
Wow.
Yeah, it was I wasn't here for it, so I have no idea what it was like in that time. But like to have done that, it must have been all over the news. Mm-hmm. 24/7.
No, I remember this movie being everywhere, not just like parodied for what was in it, but like people talking about it constantly.
Right on.
Written by, speaking of Jurassic Park, written by David
Kep.
Yeah. Okay, I was like, just like Jurassic Park, I still don't know how to say his name. Written by David Kep and Robert Towne.
I think the version we watched is, I have some interesting trivia about that coming up.
Oh yeah. Directed by Brian De Palma, as we said. And yeah, we can just hop into some fun factoids. Paramount had been trying to make this movie basically since like 86. But it wasn't until old Tommy Boy signed on to produce that the project finally got off the ground. The first film, as we said before, produced by Tom Cruise. The film actually went into pre-production without a finished script. De Palma was like, no, we're not pumping the brakes on this one. So he designed most of the action sequences himself. And then the script was just kind of caged around it. So it's like, no, we're doing the train thing. The train thing is sick. And then it's like, how do we get him on the train?
I think David Kep was on set, which is a very big deal. What they're going over right now with the SAG-AFTRA strike.
Yeah.
Is like having the writer on hand to like get you pages for the next day because you just changed your fucking mind today. Yeah.
What if we dangle him? Well, why the fuck is he hanging from the ceiling? I said we dangle him.
Ask the writer.
Exactly.
The floor is lava. I don't like Brian de Palma sounds like that. The floor is lava.
The floor is lava. Oh, God.
Do you remember Scarface?
Still need to do Barton Fink.
Oh, fuck yeah.
It's one of my favorite lines in any film. Is like, well, I'm a writer. It's like, you're a writer. There's a writer on every corner. I tell you what, if you see a writer,
throw a rock in this room,
you hit one. And it's like, and let me tell you something, Fink, you throw it hard. Tom Cruise kept bumping his fucking head when he was doing the lowering scene.
Put the roll of quarters in his shoes.
Yeah, exactly. Put coins in his shoes to help himself, stay level. Speaking of the infamous drop scene, because De Palma is, a patron of the arts, a film schoolboy. It's an homage to the 1964 film Topkapi, I think is how you say it. Topkipi. It is, but yeah, it's like a 60s like heist movie where I guess a character does lower in from the ceiling to rob the bank.
I need to go watch this.
Yeah, I do too.
Wow.
Never knew that until I, did my half-ass little like late night research here. Shouldn't be a surprise because he's a fucking nut job. Cruise did most of his own stunts.
Yeah.
Couldn't find much info on the ones he didn't do. I know he was like De Palma was desperately trying to talk him out of doing the one with the fish tank. Like he was like, no. We get like one shot at this. Like, let's get a professional. Like you could drown. And he's like, no. No, I'm in this.
It's one of the best shots in the movie, man.
It is.
Yeah.
Just,
And then my personal final factoid is this is the last major studio film to ever come out on Betamax, which I thought was amazing.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
They were still doing
Betamax in 96.
Wow.
And yeah, this was just like, this was the final nail in the coffin.
Wow.
I think the first time I ever heard about Betamax was from Armageddon. Because they make that reference in it. Because all the miners are listing their demands, and that was one of the things.
Oh, bring back
Betamax.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid going like, how's that? I'd only known VHS.
I have two Betamax nostalgias really quick. First time I ever encountered Betamax was actually during Bigger and Blacker by Chris Rock, like the stand-up special. And he tells a joke about women who don't perform oral sex. And it's like, I look at them like they're a goddamn Betamax. Like, they still make you? Like, yeah. And then the only time I ever actually encountered a Betamax was I was like a preteen and we were going to watch Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. A friend of mine was like, oh, dude, I've got a copy. Like, let's watch it. And I was like, sick. And then they brought it over and it was a fucking Betamax and I was like blown away. Because like we still had a VHS player and like all that, of course, but I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't even like, I was like, is this what VHS tapes are in Europe? Like, what the fuck is this thing? So yeah,
I need an adapter.
Exactly. So yeah, we did not watch Dream Warriors, but that was my only time actually seeing one physically. I was like 11 or 12 or something.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, most people probably don't know, but there was a format war before Blu-ray and what was it, HD, DVD? So Betamax and VHS fought in the 80s, and VHS won.
What side was Laserdisc on?
The losing
I was
side.
going to say, Laserdisc was neutral. Laserdisc was the switch.
They were conscientious observers.
They lost to vinyl. Yeah. I got this interesting thing I found. David Kep got paid $1 million to rewrite the script for this movie, the one we watched, the script that we watched.
Yeah.
Did you read who it came from?
Yeah.
Willard Hike and Gloria Katz who wrote, produced, and directed Howard the Duck.
Yeah,
Holy
baby.
shit.
This movie is Howard the Duck with Tom Cruise.
Yeah. They call him
Correct.
Ethan the Hunt. Dun, 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 dun.
Corrected, thankfully, by David Koepp for $1 million. But
Could you imagine?
I would have just set it on fire and started over. Like,
Good God.
No, but please, like, can you just for 1 second?
keep this one scene. Yeah.
Can you imagine the writers of fucking Howard the Duck being directed by Brian de Palma?
The fucking Ethan Hunt's a puppet. Can you imagine that shit?
I'm gonna say, we slow pan in on the duck. He didn't speak for a good 20 minutes. We see the duck going about his spily duties. Just like, oh, fuck. Like, yeah, I would give anything. That's...
Ugh.
He takes his bill off.
Exactly.
It's still a
He's
duck.
I was gonna say he's dressed
Different.
I was just gonna say he's a chicken, but he becomes a duck. But I like that he's still a duck. That's better.
That was the weirdest thing I found.
Wow.
Interesting. He's still around too. He just did Indiana Jones.
Howard the Duck?
No, Brian.
How the
Brian
duck's
Kemp,
in
Brian
Indy
Kemp.
5? I haven't seen it yet. Don't spoil it, dude.
Where is he? You
Howard
want
the
to kick
Duck.
his ass?
Howard the Duck is eternal. He's like the Grimace. Nothing can kill him.
No.
No, Brian Kemp. Yeah.
Brian Koepp? Oh, yeah. Or David Koepp.
David
Or
Koepp.
sorry,
writer.
David Cup. Yeah, that's what I
Oh,
meant.
yeah. He's still, he did Billionaire, I think. Billionaires? The TV show?
Oh, yeah.
I think he's on that. I could be wrong. I'm wrong about... Whenever I'm editing this and I actually have time to look this shit up, I'm like, no, that's wrong. But I leave it in.
Brian Kemp.
I'm waiting for someone to challenge me.
It'll be like a big asterisk and just says billions.
There was some weird alternative casting. Did you write down?
Yeah, I wrote down a few. Which, again, this kind of, Jim was great and all, but he could have been played by Al Pacino,
Yeah.
Michael Douglas, or Robert Redford.
Michael Douglas could have.
Yeah, Michael Douglas would have
would've
been
been better,
it,
yeah.
I think,
I
of
think-
those three. Although Al Pacino, Ethan, I'm still alive.
He would have stole the show. Like, I don't
Ethan,
think...
you gotta meet me on this train, baby.
It's like you remember when John Voight's getting up from the computer and he knocks the chair over and he sees it and then he just goes anyway. Like Al Pacino would have chewed that scene, or he would have smashed some stuff, broke the thing. Just can't believe this is going on.
Yeah. Oh my God. Can you imagine that whole first, mission that goes awry? And it's like, John Voight, classically trained. Ethan, I need you to abort. I need you to stand down. Ethan, sweetheart, the chips are down. You need to abort, Ethan. What are we doing, Ethan?
Ethan, I've been shot.
Ethan, Daddy's not coming home for Christmas. Ethan, you didn't know that me and Claire were playing you because you got your head way up her ass. It just becomes heat.
Basically,
It just becomes heat.
Give me what you got.
The Gideons at the Duke Hotel really screwed me over.
Oh, that's a sweet rainy day pairing too.
But yeah, more alternative casting. As I said, they were trying to make it since like fucking 86. So before Tom Cruise stepped in to finance and be a producer and whatnot, they were just, the classic laundry list. So we got George Clooney, John Travolta, Bruce Willis, Nicolas Cage, which, holy shit. Ray Fiennes, which would have been much more akin to like a Bond probably.
Yeah.
Jean-Claude Van Damme. And then this would have been like the slightest of slights. Mel Gibson was considered to play Ethan Hunt.
Mel Gibson and John Voight probably would get along.
they're actually like sharing drinks after.
I was going to say, there's no train fight. There's like, nah, you're right, Johnny.
That line where John Voight's just like, hey, the president of the United States is telling you what to do. Mel Gibson's just sitting there nodding furiously. I'm with you.
And then my final one is, she's turned up a couple times now. Juliette Binoche turned down the role of Claire.
Huh?
Brian De Palma actually, he was, first person he thought of. He went straight to her and was like, I got this movie, I got this role. And she's like, nah.
Right on.
That would have been way more age appropriate, my producer just mentioned off mic. Not a producer of the podcast. My personal producer. She produces me.
It's your caretaker.
Exactly.
Let's
Exactly.
just call it what it is.
Someone's got to feed me my mush, man.
You're just talking into a plant. There's nobody here.
Are we still recording?
It's like The Father, but somehow sadder.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you guys got anything?
I don't got anything. No, to be honest. No.
Not for that part.
Ready to go on to Usual Suspects?
I know someone who is. Yeah.
All right.
I want to go last.
Okay.
All right. Actors and crew from previous reviewed films with suspicious connections. As I said before, David Koepp.
Yeah, I got
He
David Koepp.
wrote Jurassic Park.
That's like the 1 degree that we have.
Yeah.
It's easy.
We got Jean Reno, who was in Rollerball with Chris Klein, who is in American Pie, which is our first episode.
Right on.
We got fucking Ving Rhames, dude, who is.
Yeah.
We finally landed Ving Rhames. He's in every goddamn movie. The man he's like Danny Trejo. He's got like 200 acting credits. But the two big ones that I saw right off the bat were I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry with Adam Sandler,
Okay.
who was in the Enter Sandman cast. We did Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
And then Ving Rhames is also in Out of Sight with George Clooney.
I got one more Ving Rhames that's a little problematic.
That's okay.
He's in Pulp Fiction with Peter Green.
Oh, Peter Green. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
That scene.
Yeah.
Hell no, it ain't okay.
That's right.
Far from okay. Anyone else before we let Kevin just unleash?
I've got Tom Cruise in Vanilla Sky with Kurt Russell.
Oh, there you
He
go.
did Big Trouble in Little China.
Hell yeah.
And then Vanessa Redgrave in Wild with Tom Wilkinson from Rush Hour.
I did have the red grave. And also, I don't know if you've done a movie with Emilio Estevez. I just wanted to write his name down. It's just a fun name to write.
I know.
It is.
Yeah.
It's the best name to write.
I got that coming up later too.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you got?
So this isn't like this is just an amazing casting thing that I found out. Rolf Saxon, is that a name? Is that a household name?
That's the most English fucking name I ever heard.
Well, he's from Virginia.
Huh.
So I was curious about the agent who was working at the terminal who gets drugged and he's throwing up the whole time because he is just the schlubby suit wearing just he looks like bread dipped in water is his favorite food, like soda is too spicy.
I thought you were going to stop there. He looks like bread dipped in water.
Kind of. But I was just fascinated because we're seeing like Emmanuel Barrett and Tom Cruise. And we're seeing all these really great looking people. And we see this guy and we spent a lot of time with him.
Yeah.
And I was just, I don't know why, I was just like fascinated by this guy. So I looked him up on the IMDb. So the late 90s were very big for Rolf Saxon.
Oh.
Because he was also in Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, shit.
Tomorrow Never Dies. Entrapment. There's a couple other ones in there that I'm blanking on. He has done a lot of voiceover. And this is what I found out. He was a voiceover of George Stobart in Broken Sword. In the Broken Sword video game franchise. I've played a few of those.
Right on.
Very much enjoyed those. Cut his teeth in the area. He worked a lot at Cal Shakes and the Berkeley Mime Troupe and learned to like tightrope walk and like fire breath at like different things like the Dickens Fair.
Why isn't he Ethan Hunt? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
He is the voice of the narrator in, I don't think it was like in the early stages, but in the later stages of the Teletubbies.
No fucking way.
Yes. And this is my favorite thing. So in 2017 was his last credit that I could see. But there was one that was upcoming in which he is reprising his role in Mission Impossible 1 in the new Mission Impossible.
What? Get the fuck out of here.
Swear to God. Blew me away.
So fucking random.
If he isn't just vomiting his guts out for 20 minutes, I'm gonna be upset. I also love that he's like Cal Shakes, fucking fire breather and tightrope walker, and they're like, what if you got really sick?
Can you pretend to vomit?
Can you say your character's name 3 times and then just nod at your secretary?
I just love the notion. It's like he can breathe fire, he can tightrope walk, and he can narrate horrible monstrosities that don't make any sense. He can do it all.
He's probably doing all that stuff in between takes too, like in front of people.
but we're gonna see a continuation of this character.
Yeah.
This character
What?
did everything right and got his life ruined.
Yeah.
They shipped him to Alaska. In fact, one
Yeah,
of
I have that later.
one of the lines, what is it? I'll mail him his clothes.
Mail his clothes. Yeah.
It's one of the most brutal lines ever. You
Yeah.
feel so bad for this guy. And it's like, he's reprising the same role, which in a way makes me a little worried that, because I'm not going to lie, I really enjoy watching these Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah.
I really do. You know, I like them for different reasons, but one of them is just, they're really fucking entertaining.
Yeah.
I'm so worried that now that they're bringing him back, it's going to be like, let's bring all the little loose ends together before we end it. And I'm like, oh, no.
Hear me out, though. You know what would be really badass? So, like, we're doing mission, we're flying somewhere, fucking plane explodes, Tom Cruise actually throws his body out of a plane without a parachute because he's a nut job, lands remote ice area, doesn't know where the fuck he is, doesn't know if he's in Russia, doesn't know if he's in Siberia, doesn't know if he's in any other country that was part of the USSR. Turns out he's safe, he's on American soil. Then we see a cherry glowing in the distance. And you're like, oh, help. Like, he knows he's in the US. And it's like, no, it's our boy who's been on that Alaskan radio tower for 30 fucking years. And he's just grizzled with like a giant, like fucking Grizzly Adams beard. And it's just like, got something for you, Ethan. And he pulls the fucking knife out of his pocket.
There's fucking grizzly bear skeletons all around.
Exactly. They've all just been stabbed with one pocket knife bought at a fucking gas station. Oh,
Remember me.
exactly.
It's just yoked.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, you can't kill a grizzly bear strictly with a pocket knife, so he's yoked from just been choking him out after he stabs them 100 times.
You gotta get in there, do Brazilian jiu-jitsu on a grizzly bear.
I mean, he works at Quantico. Of course he knows Krav Maga.
He's got Rocky 4 on repeat. He's doing the workout.
Yeah, I mean, that's really one of the ways you can get rid of a grizzly bear is a hip toss.
There you go.
Exactly.
I'm taking a page out of Fast and Furious playbook, man. They were bringing back the characters you forgot about.
Oh, man.
I was just blown away. Ralph Saxon. I'm gonna remember
Yeah.
that name, and when I see the new ones, I'm gonna be like, "Where is he?
Yeah.
Where what?"
Well, I'm pretty sure it's in the trailer, so it's not a spoiler. But Kittrick is back as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't watched the trailer. I didn't watch anything. For this
Okay,
one.
sorry, didn't mean.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Gosh,
I really
When I watch the movie, I'm gonna see a montage.
Yeah, exactly. You're gonna
Anyway.
you're gonna see everybody die, and like you're just like, oh, okay, well, it's fine.
A little off topic, but in the trailer to this movie or this Mission Impossible,
Yeah.
they have a shot of Emmanuel and Tom making out, which doesn't happen in the movie because they were trying to sell it like it is a James Bond, and they were like, "Oh yes, he'll hook up with this young hot woman."
Yeah.
It doesn't exist. Instead, they have a way weirder relationship.
Well, that's a common theme in every Tom Cruise movie. There is no sex scene
Yeah.
real ever. You think about Top Gun, they just kind of hang out.
Mm-hmm.
You think about the second Top Gun, they kind of just hang out.
Yeah, the second Top Gun, that one was really shoehorned in. Like, Maverick was just like, Tom Cruise broke into her house and then he took his shirt off and then he like put his shirt back on, basically. Like, that was,
Yeah.
damn, talk about intimacy. That was great. Oh, speaking of intimate, have we been too intimate? Do we need a breather? Do we need an ad break?
Back off, buddy. Yeah, let's take our second ad break.
Okay.
And we're back with Act 3, the award categories. Let's go ahead and start out with my new band name.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be a band named Disavowed, right?
Oh, definitely.
There's got to be.
Oh, and metal letters.
For sure.
Yeah.
The black metal letters that you can't read.
Yeah, they look like tree roots.
I'm pretty sure that is a band.
Yeah.
That's a catfish ass metal band too. Like, you're like, hell yeah, Disavowed, and you go and you're like ready to fucking rock, and then you're like halfway through their set, they reveal that it's like, well, we're disavowing Satan. We're actually a Christian metal band, and if you guys could like put your hands in the air for a quick prayer, and then we'll get right back to the screaming.
Don't bother leaving, the doors are locked.
Exactly.
It's all acoustic.
I've got 100 as per usual, so if
right.
anyone just wants to jump in when I've take a breath. Let's start things off. I've got Asta Lasagna.
I had that
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Yep.
have that one. Don't,
Yep.
Album title, Don't Get Any On You.
Don't get hit.
Oh,
Yeah. But yeah, they're a garage rock band. In my mind, they're super sloppy. Like, it's just like, oh man, this would be a good blues song if they slowed down. Yeah. As we said, don't get any on you. It's said by Jack when he describes the explosive gum, which I should have put that in the nitpicks. I didn't look it up. Did anyone make the fucking gum? Because that was like, talk about low-hanging fruit. Like a two-colored gum, like cinnamon and mint. Probably tastes terrible, but it's got a little like Mission Impossible sticker on the
Oh,
package.
the color has nothing to do with the taste.
Yeah,
Oh, I
that's
know.
what it's blue raspberry and raspberry.
Yeah,
It just tastes like the same thing.
exactly.
Side note, I was listening to the It's Always Sunny podcast, and they were talking about the episode where the gang gives Frank an intervention, where they came up with wine in a can and didn't do anything with it, and thought about at the time, should we maybe make wine in a can? No, that's stupid. That's a stupid idea. And it's them talking about like, hey kids, it's never a stupid idea.
Wow.
Look
Yeah,
into it.
just do it.
Because
Holy
now
shit.
people make millions off of that.
Yep. Bummer.
Face Peeler.
Oh,
A
I like
lot
that.
of punk band names.
Oh yeah. No, I had to really think to like diversify the genres.
Knock List.
Yeah,
It doesn't make any sense. You can just make knock me whatever you want it to be, really.
I got packages out in the open.
Yeah.
Just because that's one of my favorite quotes. One of my favorite things ever is just Tom Cruise yelling, "Packages out in the open." But yeah, he's just a shitty comedy singer-songwriter. He's just that guy that you're like, oh, sick. Like, I've been wanting stand-up in my town forever. We should go see Jeff so-and-so. He's going to be great. And then it's just like, oh, he's got a fucking guitar. I've got American Proposition. They're a punk band. One of the fucking most timely quotes in the entire movie. It's when Ethan is in the fish tank interrogation. The agent, Kittredge. I almost forgot his name, but I remembered Kittredge. Kittredge is, laying the screws to him, and he's like, dying slowly in America, after all, can be a very expensive proposition.
Nice.
Yeah.
Deep, man. Fucking deep.
Yeah.
I put 62K. Anyone know what that's from? When John Voight comes back and he's talking a big game about why Kittredge is the spy, and he goes, oh, you make 62K a year. And I'm like, for a dude in control of a lot of... Like, I get that this is supposed to be 1996, but holy cow.
Even 96.
Like 62K for that.
We have Guantanamo Bay because of this man, and he only makes 62K?
That a year. He only got 2 weeks of vacation.
Right.
I've got a really horny 80s hair metal band called Do It in Hell. It's another amazing quote. It's you want to shake hands with the devil? That's fine with me. Just make sure you do it in hell.
It was right before he throws the
The fucking
raspberry
gum.
gum.
Yeah.
I got your Christian metal band that you want to check. Job 314.
Ooh, hell yeah. Now, is it Job or Job in the metal band? I think it's Job because they're doing the Lord's
call it
work.
Job.
Yeah.
We're here to have a good time.
Exactly. No, guys, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like rock.
I have Zero Residual Presence.
Ooh.
I like that.
And they're an avant-garde band, and they're just completely silent.
You show up and like nothing, it's just crickets.
And there's nothing left when they're gone. It's like,
And the one guy who doesn't listen to them is like, dude, when the fuck are they going to start? And everyone's like, shh.
we've got the Alaskan Radar Tower Blues
Yeah. Much better than mine.
and Crushed, Stabbed, Shot, Detonated.
Ooh.
That's actually really fucking good.
Solid.
Very good metal band.
That's a metal band right there.
Yeah.
Like something Henry Rollins would have done.
I got a one man band, a Czech known as Max.
Ooh.
Yep. And I got Drake Hotel.
Nice.
It's up for grabs, whatever you want to make it.
It's
an entire band of Drake impersonators.
I was thinking
Give it up for bellboy Drake. Give it up for front desk Drake. And of course, I'm concierge Drake.
I was thinking of something more like Nico that would have been in a Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah. You used
Drake
to call
Hotel.
all of us on our cell phones separately because we're in different departments.
Turnover service, Drake.
Exactly. Under the pillow, Drake.
I got one more. Vent rat.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I can't get over this rat. I love it. I love the rat so much.
Should we name him? I don't think he has a name. He's not credited.
He is not credited.
Ben Rat's cool, but that's his band name.
I've got 3 because I'm going to let a couple go because we already touched on them. Ones we didn't say yet. The Hoppin' Virginia Farm Boys. They're a bluegrass band. It's when Max tests out the knock list. And Ethan's like, no, like, I'm telling you, that is, like, that's the trap. Like, don't do it. Mm-hmm. And the exact quote is, in 30 seconds, you'll have Virginia farm boys hopping around you like rabbits. I've got Ghosts in Training. They're an instrumental prog rock band, kind of like Explosions in the Sky or something like that. But the quote is, these guys are trained to be ghosts. It's when they can't find Ethan.
Yeah. And
then my final one is just, I'm surprised this isn't a band name. This is just fucking cool. I'm going to say it wrong because I've had a couple drinks. Anonymity is a warm blanket.
You did it.
I did it. I know. I took a breath. I paused and I thought, which is something I never do. But anyways, anonymity is a warm blanket.
Anonymity.
There you go. See?
Yeah.
Hey, walk. 1 for 2 is fine.
Just stop while you're ahead.
See Anemone is a warm blanket. They're a screamo band. Pretty self-explanatory there.
Nice. Updated movie title for 2023. Would there be a new name?
I've got one that I am so fucking mad that it's called Mission Impossible because this is just right there. It's low-hanging fruit. Has to be called Mission Impossible because the only reason the whole franchise exists is because it's a reboot of a 60s television show. We talked about that. But Ethan, agent possibly gone rogue, possibly a killer. Everyone's looking for him. Why the fuck isn't this called Agent Hunt?
Oh,
right? It's right there. His name is Ethan Hunt.
Right there.
He is Agent Hunt.
This
is how you make this American James Bond. It's just Agent Hunt. And then every 4 years, you get a new handsome man to play Agent Hunt. The British have been doing this for decades. Fucking catch up.
That's fucking genius.
Nice, dude.
I didn't have one. That's goddamn.
I put down, maybe these missions are possible after all. They kind of win in every one.
Yeah.
Mine was just a grammar thing, man. It's not Mission Impossible. It's Mission Impossible. So why can't it just be? Just get rid of the fucking
the colon.
Yeah. And it's just Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
That's always bugged me for some reason.
Yeah, it's like Star Trek Into Darkness.
Right. Yeah.
Just move the sentence forward.
Maybe we get them to use the hyphen like Neil Breen.
Oh yeah.
Or his 2 dots instead of 3. That's one of my favorite things he does.
The partial ellipsis.
Yeah.
I am here. Now.
All right, on to the Roger Deakins Will Be Proud Award for cinematography.
Everything in Prague.
Yeah.
It's pretty beautiful.
Fucking pretty.
Everything in Prague.
Yeah.
Everything. And
Yeah.
one of the things I really like about the way, just their choice of location, it's very James Bond.
Yeah.
It's very much like, we understand what we're up against, so we need to draw you in this way. Everything's immaculate. Everything looks great. The POV doesn't look like shoddy and weird.
That's what I have down for mine is like the POV inside the embassy is really well done. You never see that anymore.
No.
It's not meant to be a video game. It's meant to be looking through the glasses of Ethan.
Yeah.
That's just like, it goes in between the POV and the outside view as well, like all in the same shot almost. Like as you're going through it, it's like,
and it's a neat little moment because I mean we'll get to the whole masks thing later, but like he does it when he's pretending to be someone else.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's only one other moment where they go POV, and it's when he's supposed to be himself, but he's pretending to be a different version of himself to try and get in with Max. So he gets into the car. They tell him to take off his hat, so they can have that thing where they put the
shroud.
the other mask on him.
Yeah.
It's a very, very clever use of it, and it's not. They didn't overuse it. It's not overdone.
Mm-hmm.
Works really well.
Yeah.
That's genius fucking filmmaking.
Then we talked about the Dutch angles.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're used properly. There's a lot of them. it's kind of striking to see it because we don't see it so much anymore. And it looks like it might be a student film, but they are used properly. I think they've done really well. The super low angle Dutch angle, that's very much a De Palma thing.
Yeah. Before we get too far away from it, I just want to mention really quick the lighting in Prague. So the way it's lit and whatnot took 2 weeks.
2 weeks to set up.
To set up.
Yeah.
And also, like, they should have said this in the fun fact section, but one of the most amazing things about this movie, like as far as just production, is took 2 weeks to set up. People that live in Prague had never seen their city lit like that, had never seen the fog rolling in over the bridge the way it was because of the lighting setup. So literally they had to set up barricades and fucking turn people away because the entire city's like swarm of photographers just came out and were like, oh my God, bro, this is like sunset on the grid. Like it was one of those things where it's like, no, you're stopping traffic, you're fucking everything up, just go away. And it's like, we're trying to make a movie. And it's like, no, but like, you don't understand, I live here. I've never seen this. So I just thought that was amazing.
It's interesting that the one of the, I don't know why it made me feel something, but I think it's just my own penchant for watching fail videos. But like the shot of the two agents pretending to be the drunk couple and the man goes running down the hill with his arms up, the way his body is angled, the sharpness of the hill, the shadow that's coming up around him. It looks like he's going to biff it right into that water.
It looks cold, too. So it looks like it's slippery as fuck,
It looks super slippery. It looks cold, foggy. Everything's drenched. You think he's going to wipe out, and he doesn't. But it's just like, everything about that shot I love. And it's just like 2 seconds. Like, so good.
I got the transition from the exterior of the train up to the window.
Oh, my God. That fucking
Flawless.
shot. Flawless. Like, clearly a helicopter shot because we're so far away from the train. And then you just, I don't know where the cut is.
Yeah, exactly. You can't see it.
I don't know where the cut is either.
It's very much it's all real, but it's done just so good. Like the window of the final and where we end up is tracked onto the helicopter shot, and it's just zoomed in later. But it's like that's not computer generated. It's all it's all real and freaking.
All of the windows are open.
Yeah,
except for where we're going.
Exactly.
And the beautiful Scottish countryside. Like they couldn't film it where they needed to.
It's cheaper to shoot it in Scotland. It's like The Dark Knight Rises. They wanted to shoot, I can't remember where they wanted to shoot, and they had to shoot the intro to that movie in Scotland. So they're like, screw it, we'll just drop a plane in Scotland somewhere.
It's super fun. I have the setup that they did for the elevator, because you're looking at it through like, help me out with the terminology. It's like a cross cut, like you're looking through the wall.
Crosshatch?
Well, because he gets into the elevator, Emilio Estevez, and you see it from like what you're seeing through the wall, because they're in the basement, and then you see it go up the floors, and you see.
I mean, on the computer?
No. He's saying like they remove the wall.
They remove the wall.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. And so it's just that whole sequence of him going up, and I really like that.
Right on.
Yeah, I love those. I've got two really quick before we move on. I don't know if we're gonna move on, but very simple shot, but so fucking like perfectly executed. There's this tilt and push into a Dutch angle when Ethan is exhausted from like researching and catfishing Job.
Yeah.
He's like been sending emails with, he's, it's really hard. He doesn't know where to click. The click box is only like 3 inches. But he's been like, trying to send this person who he has no clue, what's going on, sending messages into the void. And he just like, he does the classic like shitty movie trope of like remove the glasses and like wipe the brow kind of thing. But it's this like semi-wide push in, and then we push and tilt perfectly into the Dutch so we get his exhaustion and confusion. It's just one of those like, fuck. It's just so simple, but it's like a beautiful shot.
Does that shot lead into the dream?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also, it's a perfect because you get the Dutch, then all of a sudden everything's askew. We don't know what's real, what's not. And then my last one, it's a very basic shot, but it's like, fuck, it's a banger. It's a dolly back along the helicopter blade from Ethan's neck. So we start in like an extreme close-up on his like Adam's apple where the blade is, and then we just like ride the fucking helicopter blade backwards.
That was an underslung dolly.
Yeah.
So the camera's hanging from track, and they roll it back. That's a bitch to set up. Pretty good stuff.
Those are mine.
Nice. Is that Channing Tatum in a Dog Collar Award? Any actors, unexpected cameos? Just
so we all wrote Emilio Estevez.
Yeah, we all wrote it.
I wrote down Emilio.
Yeah. Unfucking credited Emilio Estevez.
Right.
Which I have a little trivia note on that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure everyone else who did research saw this too. But yeah, the reason why he's uncredited is it's like a little nod because Tom Cruise was in Young Guns, and Tom Cruise, did his thing, didn't get a fucking credit.
He was wandering around and wound up on set, and he's like, "Hey, can I be in this movie?"
Yeah,
and they fucking dressed him up like a cowboy.
but still, he didn't get his name on the thing. So this was like
He didn't have any speaking lines either. That's the other thing. When you get a speaking line in a movie, you kind of get credited.
Yeah.
You have to.
Or you should.
But Emilio did. He was in 3 or 4 scenes.
He's in he was. Dude was crushing
that's 2
bagels
weeks.
on set
That's
3 days in a row.
That's 2 weeks on set.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Also, side note, I don't want to sound mean. I don't want to overstep my bounds here, but there's plenty of space in between those spikes. I'm just saying.
Right, yeah.
Just a little bob and weave. All I'm saying, he just like a deer. Like I'm just saying.
It's not moving very fast either. It's kind of like
Well, he didn't have time to move because he was trying to perfectly position his eyeball under the spike.
Yeah, he's trying to.
But yeah, I don't know if anyone else has.
No,
but that was
that's
it.
all I had.
Fucking
That's all I have. Yeah.
Yep.
Always good to see him. Always good to see Vanessa Redgrave. She
Oh, yeah.
EGOT. She is an EGOT.
Yep.
We've got it's a sailboat award. What are the themes or bigger messages that the director is trying to convey?
If you use masks, you are saying something whether you mean to or not. So it's like I don't know if this is exactly what they were trying to go for, but if your identity is being other identities, and then you have to look into yourself and figure out what is this identity actually. I think there's something to be said there. I really think it's best represented in that moment where he goes to meet Max and they put him in a mask. And what is the mask? It's a blank ski mask with all these
It's grotesque.
Riddler-esque,
Yeah, it's freaky
like
looking,
patches
yeah.
and stuff, and a mouth sewn shut, and like, and that was the moment where he was, he's being himself, but a different version of himself as he's trying to figure out himself, because he spent this, his whole life, because the whole beginning of the movie is them just being so blasé, everything's fine, we're king shit, we're the greatest, I got the greatest team, I trust everybody. Yeah, I think there's something there, whether they intended to or not.
Well, it's a Brian de Palma film. I'm pretty sure there are themes in it.
Yeah, but I mean that's just with masks. Anything. I mean Jim
Sure.
Carrey in the mask.
Oh yeah.
they're talking about masks,
Yeah.
but really it's about the face.
I got the Ben Stein voice and like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just put down the call is coming from inside the house.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
theme.
I was going to say, I've got my usual fucking rhetoric, my usual, union up, anti-capitalist bullshit. But yeah, what I took away from this is don't trust your employers. As a worker, you must always be aware of what's happening behind the scenes and look out for yourself.
Hell yeah.
As Sonic the Hedgehog says, it only takes, 30% of the team to unionize. Which, oh my God, that's one of my favorite TikToks of all time. If anyone hasn't seen it, I'll find it, I'll send it to you. It's great. It's Sonic. Yeah, it's like a cutesy Sonic PSA, and it's Sonic telling you exactly how to unionize. It's fucking amazing. And he's like running through the rings and stuff. And he's like, hey, and it's just like, your pal Sonic here.
I haven't seen that.
That's so
Nice.
good.
That's great.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on anything. You guys, yeah, I was just
Whether or not the masks mean anything, I think the majority of this movie is to have some fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Have some fun,
I like that
Watch some
interpretation
cool
of it though.
stuff.
I do. I now like this movie very much.
Yeah. Dude, fucking De Palma.
He's so good.
He's so good. I was gonna say I don't want to sound like a film school cunt, but I'm gonna sound like a film school cunt. Yeah, I don't know. This is like the best Mission Impossible because it's like it's got something to say. It's just like it's got depth. It's got meaning. It's got like beautiful camera work. Not to say the other ones don't. Not to say the other ones don't have, amazing stunts, which we'll get into in a second when we talk about stunts and stuff. But like, yeah, it's got meat on the bones.
The Hans Gruber Deathfall Award.
I mean, for me, we touched on it already.
Anybody not going to talk about the helicopter at the end?
God, he just smushes them. It's great.
Oh,
It's
I am.
delightful.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a party of one. I gave it to Jack's elevator fucking eye crush impalement.
Yeah, I got that as a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I was thinking more of the antagonist.
Well, that's what it said on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
antagonist.
yeah.
Otherwise, I would have given it to
absolutely
that,
that's the best stuff in the movie. But just like satisfying, like watching John Voight. Just
they show it too. They show the thing happening.
Yeah.
No, this
Boy,
movie
get
was
crushed
super
by
gruesome. I've forgotten how.
Yeah,
I
the
was like,
PG-13 movie
right,
too.
right. Which is, I was like, oh shit, like yeah.
Or it's in
Blood and
90,
everything.
96 again. So
Yeah.
it's
It's
like
like
Jurassic
96,
Park, right?
no blood, no nipples, fucking PG-13, baby.
Controversial hot take.
I don't know if it's a hot take. I don't know. I'm just gonna say it though.
That's-
I think this movie is two genres, and espionage is number 2.
Oh.
I think this movie is a murder mystery wearing the mask of an espionage.
There you go.
I can see that.
Because honestly, there's not a ton of like, like we're breaking into our own government, which is like, okay, that's something, but that's also national treasure, and I wouldn't consider national treasure an espionage. I look at it more of like, an Ethan Hunt search for who murdered my team, who murdered the people that I considered the closest to me.
Sure.
And it's kind of framed in a
It's
espionage.
It's a 007 Agatha Christie.
Yeah.
Right on.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that.
An Ian Christie. An Agatha Fleming, if you will.
Fleming. Ugh.
Agatha Fleming. Sorry, I'm late, darling.
Acid reflux just saying that
Oh,
name.
I hurt my... that one hurt a little bit, actually.
And then my other hot take is Emilio Estevez. Just move.
Yeah.
Move to the side.
Speaking of Emilio, mine is Emilio posthumously saved the day. Like Jack, his fucking chewing gum came in clutch twice, and if it weren't for Asta lasagna gum, Ethan would have been captured or killed. Like 20 minutes in, and then at the very end, it's like that's what gets Johnny and the fucking helicopter. So
Yeah.
And then my other is something that, not to beat a fucking dead horse here, but Mission Impossible is just an American James Bond. I think the series could benefit from it being treated so. Don't get me wrong, franchise has become extremely fun and over the top, pretty much due exclusively to Tom Cruise and his benevolence and insanity and dedication. But I think it would be really fucking fun to have a revolving door of American actors in the Ethan Hunt role.
I don't want to spoil anything, but I think that's what we're going to get.
I think that's what
what we're going to get eventually, but I don't know. Homie has said that he wants to play Ethan Hunt till he's 80.
Well, we may not get to this another person playing Ethan Hunt, but we're going to focus on a new person.
Yeah.
After
I would love
part
that.
2.
Well, that's what they were. So that's what they were trying to do with what's Hawkeye's name? It's
Jeremy
escaping.
Renner. Yeah,
Jeremy
that's why
Renner.
they had him in. Yeah.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner was like literally there. That was the whole purpose of, I think it's MI4 or 5?
I think it's
Yeah, 4 goes
It's
for
4. The whole purpose of 4 was to pass the torch.
Yep.
And they were like, no, this fucking idiot's gonna run down a building? We're gonna get a billionaire to just run down a building? We don't have to hire OSHA or like stunt crew? Nah, Tommy, you can continue to do this.
Yeah.
Now drive your motorcycle off that cliff.
Exactly.
More times.
Yeah, he'll be in and out, and he'll come back and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And could you imagine in the future he's like the old guy running it, and then eventually
Turns into Jim.
Absolutely.
and then he's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Oh, come on,
totally
do
see
it.
it.
Don't be a coward.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It seems to be the hot take here at this table, but not with IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes. But this is the weakest Mission Impossible.
That is a very hot take.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying it's at this table because if you look it up,
That's brave of you,
IMDb
sir.
and Rotten Tomatoes says it's the lowest scored.
Lower. I didn't look at the whole list,
it's
but
the-
lower than 2.
I think this came out.
Yeah,
before-
by like 0.1 or 0.2 or something like that.
And a rank.
And I'll rank no other.
And it's not bad. It's not bad. It's just the hot take
It's
is that
just-
the hot take is that it's like it's fine. It's a good starting point.
I liked what you said about Fast and the Furious. Because, Fast and the Furious 1, Fast and the Furious,
Yeah.
whatever the
Yeah.
newest one is,
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah.
But insanely different.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's not the same thing at all.
Sure.
And, they're going for a different feel. They're going for, a different style.
Yeah.
I'm the antithesis to that hobby, though. I am like, fucking give me Fast and the Furious till I'm 80 years old.
See?
Like, I'm one of those who I'm like, no, like, more batshit. No, like, I want fucking Vin Diesel to punch Superman. Like, I want it to become canon that it's like, no. So, all right, so The Rock can't be in this because he's technically DC? Like, I want it to get to that point where it's like, yeah, I want literally like, well, obviously The Flash is gonna back Ludacris.
See,
Like,
that's the thing. Did you watch the first? Like, did you watch them?
Oh yeah,
Fast and Furious,
I watched. So just to get really quick off topic, possibly get cut out of the podcast. I watched them growing up. I was like, I don't know, 11, 12 years old or whatever when the first one came out. Yeah. Floored by it. Fucking loved it.
Yeah. Okay.
Saw 2 and was like, oh, this is fun, but it's stupid. Like, you do that thing where you kind of like, as a child, I thought like a child. I set aside, like, not to quote the Bible, but like, I set aside childish things, like that kind of thing. And then, like, in my 20s, when I was just like housing ounces of weed, was just like, oh, dude, like, I'm kind of hungover, and I'm gonna like just scrape the fucking resin out of this pipe and watch Fast and the Furious 5, and then having like the revelation of like, oh, these are really fun and stupid. Like, it's just like a classic turn my brain off. Like, a Fast and the Furious movie is a perfect hangover movie as long as you don't have like the visual motion sickness kind of thing of a hangover. Right. Like, if it's like a hangover you can ride, then it's like, yeah, dude, it's like, I have this thing up here, for those who are not watching the video cast, I'm pointing at my brain. This thing doesn't have to do anything. Ludacris, Tyrese, Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, rest in peace. They're going to tell me what I'm supposed to think and feel. So I'm just going to look at the pretty colors and the explosions. Which,
right.
I mean, maybe a hot take, but that's where we've gone now with Mission Impossible as well. So it's like, yeah, like, watch this man fucking free fall off a motorcycle and blow up 9 tanks.
Just bend his foot backwards, jumping onto a building.
Exactly.
Oh, it's brutal to watch.
And then get up and keep going.
Yeah, he knew they were shooting, and he was like, gotta finish the shot, finish the shot. And they kept that in the movie.
And then cut to 6 months later.
Yeah.
I love Fallout, though. That's like, that's one of my favorites.
I like the newer ones. Once Simon Pegg came on, I'm on board.
Oh, it's great. Great.
I think it was 3. I think that was
3. It was 3. It was 6.
When he jumped in.
That's what I'm saying. 3 was when it shot up. That's what I'm saying. 3 was when it shot up, man.
My 3 favorite Mission Impossibles are 1, 3, and what is Fallout? 6?
All right.
Fallout is 5.
Sounds good.
Fallout was after Ghost Protocol.
No, there's another one after
Rogue Nation.
You're right.
Rogue Nation was after
and
that.
Fallout.
So
You're right.
6.
You're right. 6.
Right.
Yeah.
Why do we know this?
The fight in the bathroom with Henry Cavill.
Oh yeah.
That's one of the things that really amped up as the movie went on, because John Woo has some great action sequences in 2, but on a whole, it felt pretty silly and almost superhuman, superhero-y.
Yeah.
At a certain point, they got really good fight choreographers.
Because, again, like we talked about, Fast and Furious has to evolve to, like, kind of, compete with Marvel movies. The Mission Impossible series had to evolve to compete with the, zeitgeist. So they had to compete with John Wick. Mm-hmm. So it's like, yeah, that's where, like, I agree. Like, that fucking Henry Cavill, like, fight in the bathroom where it's the Asian dude in the, like, it's just the two of them just getting the shit knocked out of each other by this agent. And then I love that, like, they have the little silly, stupid scene where it's like, oh, they think there's, like, a, homosexual, like, party going on kind of thing. The boys are like, hey, what's going on, mate? Kind of thing. I'm like knocking on the wall and stuff. It's kind of fun.
How come there's 3 sets of feet in this one stall?
Exactly, yeah. Which I love that that's the guess, not like, oh, we're doing cocaine, like kind of thing. That's what I would think if I saw 3 feet in the bathroom. I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing blow. I'm just gonna wash my hands. But yeah, like, no, that scene is so fucking good. And yeah, it's just because had to compete with Keanu. This is a perfect transition.
Can we talk about that movie instead?
Oh, dude,
is it too late to just switch gears?
We can go. I think enough time has passed. We can do Wick 1.
No, I'm talking about, was it Rogue Nation?
Oh, yeah. I think enough time has passed. We can do Rogue Nation, too.
Wick 1 is 2014, so it's just 1 year.
1 year? Oh, it counts. Hell
Next
year. Time for another Spider-Man award. Do we need a remake? If one already exists, is it necessary? No, because we're still cranking these suckers out, dude.
Yeah, I just want to capitalize on the idea that that's brilliant, having him flip roles
Yeah.
And some 20 years from now, for whatever.
Because in this movie,
To do the soft reboot, that's how they do that. Yeah.
the people from the TV show were so pissed at this movie because Jim, is his
Defected.
coat. So that'd be fucking great.
Yeah.
If we could eat
I love
that
it.
too.
I love it.
Also,
And then try and really kind of justify it. Really, like in this movie, they show the government really abusing their power, doing really inappropriate things to try and get the job done. You can tie that in with
Yeah.
something
You
else.
get old Ethan Hunt sitting there going, I've been through 9 of these fucking movies.
yeah, exactly.
Every single one of them, my government's turned against me and disavowed me.
I was just going to say really quick, though, I don't think we need a remake, but it would be really fun to have a spiritual successor to the original. Like, we haven't had just a cool espionage thriller in a long time.
So we had that one Jeremy Renner spinoff with Bourne.
Yeah.
We should have a Mission Impossible spinoff with his Brent character. from
Exactly.
this
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah.
day. Just really confuse everybody.
No, like, I want, like, throwing back to what I said earlier, like, fucking Hideo Kojima being inspired by this. I want, like, a Metal Gear Solid movie that's inspired by this. Like I want Snake crawling through the vents, killing rats. Like I want all of that.
I want to see one of them where they get into the vents and they're like, "This is way too tight."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Plan B.
Yeah.
Shock genre no fit in that vent. Not gonna lie.
Ready?
Yeah.
The Sonic Death Monkey top 5.
We should have a sound effect for this.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Just like a howler monkey,
You
like
need to watch the video. I've made all
I
kinds of
haven't seen
stuff.
that one yet.
I've made all kinds of stuff for all these sections.
Just a horrifying shriek.
Yeah. Just the it's not the Wilhelm, but it's the other one that's like the just yeah.
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 Yeah. Are you familiar with this idea?
I am. I got familiar with it as I was looking at the text thread outside.
That's okay.
So I looked at it. So
that's
I
fine.
do not have a top 5. However, I
all
do have a handful of stunts in my brain
Yeah.
that really stand out to me.
This is not a pop quiz. You can just hit us with whatever you want.
The first one being Inception, the hallway that they constructed a hallway and rotated it as they were running through. Like that is, I still think that's one of my absolute favorite action moments in a movie ever. It blew my mind. I had no idea how they did it when I watched it because I was like, "Where's the CG? Where's the?" And they're like, "Nope, no CG.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We just elevated a hallway.
We just rotated an entire building. Yeah.
Yeah. We're just like, what if Paprika was real?
And another one that's just is always in my head because it's maybe the greatest martial arts movie I've ever seen. The Legend of Drunken Master.
Which
Jackie
one?
Chan, The Legend.
Is it the first one? Because there's 2.
Yeah, no, the first one's just Drunken Master.
Okay.
The Legend is the later one, and he gets thrown on some hot coals.
That's right.
And the fire and the coals, and it's in slow motion, so you're just stuck there, and it's brutal to watch. I loved it. I love that moment so much. There was one more, and I can't think of it right now.
Sorry, if you think of it as we go along, just let us know.
It's all right. And then just to quick reiterate for the audience, the question this week was, what are your top 5 all-time movies with over-the-top stunts?
Thank you.
You're welcome. I was going to say that real quick, and I was like,
I got really excited. And
I got
just wanted
excited
to do it.
too. But I feel like people could have, much like, so I just pulled a Mission Impossible 4 there. Kevin went full Mission Impossible 1 where he just inferred what the question was.
Oh, okay.
So it's very on brand. No, it's all good. I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the audience is smart enough, and they'll catch up without us actually having to say anything.
Whoa, De Palma. I think we need bang, bang, shooty.
This is the part in the podcast where we all take off our masks.
Exactly. Oh my God.
Like I take off my mask.
Fuck,
I'm
that's such
Taylor.
a,
You
such,
take off your
that's such a
mask,
good
you're
idea,
Lauren.
but I don't
I know.
I don't have the time to do that VFX.
You take off your masks and you're me.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do.
I can go. So I got number 5. We were just talking about it. Fast and the Furious.
Hell yeah.
The first one.
Ah.
Number 1. Brought back the car stunt genre and just all that. So and there was some CGI in there for sure, but there was a lot of practical stuff too. So
I'm gonna change my.
yeah.
Calling an audible here.
Number 4, John Wick. You mentioned
Hell
that one
yeah.
too. The movie speaks for itself, and it's just you can't not have this on your list. And then number 1, also number one. The rest are great too, but number 1. Number 3, you know it. I had to have it on here. Death Proof.
Oh,
Yep.
Just the car chase scene and the stunt actors, the actresses are on the car. Oh, dude. Yeah, just in the fucking 20-minute car chasing.
The shit.
What is it?
Playing shipmates.
Yeah, shipmates. Yeah. It's 20 fucking minutes. It's so good.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we got a comment on that. Go for it.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that. Fucking brilliant. Yeah.
And then for my number 2 and 1, I have The Raid 2 and The Raid.
Yeah.
My favorite action movie of all fucking time to this day. Just and everything. You look at the behind the scenes for that movie, it's just nuts. Like those guys were fucking hurting. It's just everything's like in the same shot, and it's not. We were bringing up the Bourne movies, right? None of it's shaky cam. It's all just amazing. I can watch that movie. Yeah.
Raid Redemption was one of the ones I was trying to think of.
No, that shit's the gold standard. I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those like Extraction on Netflix. Just a like quick non sequitur. Good time. Fun. The whole time I'm like, oh, this is just Hollywood trying to do The Raid. This is, and we're not doing it. But yeah, I'll go next because Luke called an audible. I don't know if he's shifting things around.
No, I'm good.
You're good? Okay.
You can go if you want.
Okay. My number 5 is Death Proof as well. Yeah. Just like fucking hang up the chick habit, baby.
Yeah.
Hang it up, daddy. It's so fucking good. Like just the whole film, like just both sequences, like we touched on the shipmates bit, like where she's hanging off and whatnot. But even the first sequence, like just that first, like, oh god, just like they flip so many goddamn cars in the sense of like they don't flip so many cars like Blues Brothers level so many cars, but they flip so many cars well.
Yeah.
Like it's just that like, you really got to be sitting in my seat, darling. That first one is just like it's so painful. It comes out of nowhere. It feels like because I don't know if anyone else has been T-boned here. I'm sure the audience has been T-boned before, but it feels like a T-bone. Because it is just one of those, like, you're lulled in. She's talking about, like, it's over. Like, you're supposed to turn left. And he's like, you should have, would have been a lot less scary if you would have said right. Kind of thing and all that. And you're like, oh, I don't like this. And then, like, it's literally, like, perfectly timed with, like, you really got to be sitting in my, seat to get the death proof effect. And then just, like, the fucking, like, drop of a dime. Just, so good. My number 4, probably Luke's number 1, is Ronin.
Oh, fuck me.
Yeah. I want to do Ronin so bad on this goddamn podcast. It's a great movie. But just everything about it. It's just got like that fucking...
Another Jean Reno movie.
Yeah. Just the whipping...
I'm trying to remember the last time I watched that movie.
I don't know if it still is, but that is a Tubi staple. Like, it is constantly on Tubi for free. Also, shout out Tubi. If you want to sponsor us, I know you don't have much money because everything's free that you give away, and I love you. You've given me so much. I would like to actually sponsor you. I want to give back. But if you want to sponsor us, that's great. Tubi, please check it out.
Support video stores. I got it on DVD.
But no, just Ronin, like, everything about it, like the whipping through the tight little European streets, the fucking like RPG out the window, just everything. God, Ronin, so good. The only thing I don't like about Ronin is the fucking shoehorned in, like, do you know what samurai are? Like, just like working the title in thing. It's like that's the only thing I don't like about that movie. My number 3, which should be my number 1, but I'm playing my cards close to the chest here. My number 3 is The Raid 2. That fucking prison scene when he's like, when everyone's rushing and it's just a cacophony of sound and our main character is just politely, quietly untwisting the broom. Yeah. And it's like, and you watch him get the final little like wrench out and then just like sound drops out. Like much like Ethan dropping from the ceiling, it just like gets like pin drop quiet and then he just starts, all you hear is the sound of the broom against faces. And it's like, fuck. That's a movie that, like, when I get pissed drunk, I buy that movie. I buy that movie every time. Like, I probably own that movie on every streaming service known to man because I'm just like, you guys want to watch something crazy? And then I put on The Raid, and it's like, I could have put this on, like, fucking Row 8, fucking, Roku channel, any of them. I just own it on all of them now. My number 2 has to be, it's a split. It's going to give it to the Fast and the Furious saga. I'm going to give it to, specifically, though, my split is between, sorry, Javi, it's between 5 and 9. So Fast 5 has the iconic fucking... 5 is amazing because 5 is just a heist movie. Like, that's just where they completely switch gears. And they're like, nah, this is... Cars have nothing to do with anything. But it's the safe tow through the streets of Brazil, which is actually Puerto Rico. And then Fast 9, when Vin Diesel, Tarzan swings a Trans Am on a vine. That's like one of the greatest. Like, that's when you're officially like, we have given up on reality.
That's some early James Bond stuff.
No, I know. It's like
Octopussy right there.
I was gonna say my personal favorite James Bond movie is The Man with the Golden Gun because it's so bananas.
Yeah.
Also, Roger Moore is my favorite because he's just the most bumbling, stupid fucking James Bond of all time. But I love it because he's just like, yeah, it works. He's great. He like makes his way through it the whole time. And then just really quick, get back on topic and to wrap things up. My number one. Because we are talking about stunts. I wouldn't be playing close to the chest, so I didn't say Jackass number 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Not my favorite Jackass movie. I think Jackass 3 or Jackass 3D, whatever you want to call it, is my favorite of the Jackass franchise films. But number 2 is just like, that's the one that's just mean.
Yeah.
That's the one where everyone's at their breaking point of drug addiction, where Steve-O's like, yeah, dude, I do 40 whippets. I'm going to just play tetherball with a hornet's nest because I don't feel things. So, like, as far as pure stunts, that's the one that's like Johnny gets like one of his, boy's not doing great. He gets one of his major like brainstem concussion-y things from the bowls in that one. So just of sheer gnarliness, it's got to be Jackass.
Bam Margera almost died.
Yeah.
Because of the, you know which one?
No, is it the...
It was the branding.
Oh.
So he got branded with the Dick
the Dicks
brand,
from Dick Farmer Dunn.
and it hurt so bad. And it's not the branding that almost killed him. It's the fact that he dunked his ass in a water trough.
Yeah, so gnarly.
Oh, shit.
And it got super infected and it almost killed him.
Oh, no.
Jesus.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was seen going crazy up around here not too long ago.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, this is where Steve-O had his show up here. Was it in March?
Yeah.
Something recently. Yeah.
And Bam was sober for a minute, but then like went right off and just like, Anyways,
on to happier pastures.
So Ronin is my all-time. That's above my number one.
Nice.
I
Yeah.
just put it up there easily.
Yeah. Great.
But I wrote down for number 5, any Tony Jaa movie.
Yeah.
On back, The Protector.
Nice.
Just that long up the stairs
Yep.
sequence, that one take.
Oof.
And the first on Buck where he's like sliding under cars and the chase scene or jumping
Jumping over him.
I love
He's just jumping through hoops
he
for
jumped through
fun.
a hoop of barbed wire.
Yeah.
Just like,
Like, why are the bad guys trying to catch him with a barbed wire hoop? Other than he can do that.
Right, yeah.
Number 4, I have Mad Max. So number 2. And it's the stunt where the guy's driving the motorcycle down the turn and he loses it and he goes off and he does like a football field's worth of jump.
Yeah.
He clips his legs on the car and breaks them in real life.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I watched that as like a 3-year-old. Like, that's what burned into my fucking brain. The guy clipping the car and then doing cartwheeling over and over.
God.
So that's number 4. Number 3, The Matrix. Just all the actual kung fu that the actual actors did and studied for was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. The alley fight in They Live.
No. Yes.
Roddy Piper and was it Keith David?
It is Keith David. Yeah. It took me a second. I was like, and my brain was like Carl Weathers. And I was like, it's not Carl Weathers. Don't say Carl Weathers. Don't say Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
the best is when they take a break.
Yeah.
And you think it's over.
9
and they're
minutes.
like,
a 9-minute fucking fight.
no, we're going for it again.
Nuts.
You done, motherfucker.
And then my original number 1 is Rumble in the Bronx. Was my first Jackie Chan movie that I saw from Jackie Chan, and then I watched every other thing he did. But the Rumble in the Bronx is the one where they had Chinese state money funding the movie, so they had a huge fucking budget, but they filmed in the Bronx, so they had the hovercraft and all the other giant fucking stunts paid for, and they were able to just do all that shit. And then the biggest thing I remember is Jackie jumping from one building to the other where he broke his ankle. That's on my list.
As a runner-up, not to have this run on for fucking ever, but I had Speed, and I took it off just because it's like, it's so iconic. That's like a childhood, like watching, that's talk about a popcorn movie that is just like, I'm just like, oh my God, like, I'm like 7 years old. I don't know if Keanu's gonna make it. I don't know how films work. So I'm like, I was convinced until like last 20 minutes that the bus was just gonna go.
Been watching a bunch of dead people.
Exactly.
All right, on to who do we think won the movie? Best performance, best line, best scene chewing, directing.
I mean, just in terms of literally, I mean, Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I mean, just won at life from that movie. He was already
he bet on the right horse.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, he's the real life person who won.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The character I think who won was Luther.
Yes.
Yeah.
Luther came in. He didn't have to do anything super dangerous. He didn't have to hoist Tom Cruise or pretend to try and drug a dude or do anything. Stuff. He sat behind a keyboard. The most dangerous thing he had to do was he had to hide in the bathroom for 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that,
And he got to be in every single movie.
yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Right on.
And he's solid. And he got to wear awesome outfits. Like literally, the moment you see him, you're just like, who is he? And I want to know more about him.
I don't think he went through wardrobe. He just showed up on set wearing whatever.
Yeah, I was like, I've seen a Ving Rhames movie. He's just dressed like Ving Rhames.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And in this one, he's actually dressed like what's his name? Pulp Fiction.
Marcellus.
Marcellus.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I was like, oh, it's
exactly
almost literally the
looks like
same.
He walked off the movies to Pulp Fiction onto this one. I was like, all right. The verdict for rewatchability. How does everyone feel? Fuck, marry, kill.
You gotta let it live, personally. Like, it's just so goddamn good. It's it's De Palma doing.
I watched it twice in the last week, so
Exactly.
I'm letting it live. I know Javier's got different.
I got it on monitor.
Okay.
Just in the terms that, like, I'm going to take a poll. I think if I go around and I ask 100 people, I think 90 of them are going to say, yeah, I haven't seen that movie since, whatever. And I think everything else, like, yeah, I saw that on TV the other day. Yeah, I saw that on Netflix the other day. I don't know. It's just, I mean, I don't need to kill it because it's not hurting anybody, but I also think I can go the rest of my life without watching this again. And I would be like,
that's fine.
The households with basic cable now are not seeing the original Mission Impossible played ad infinitum. They're seeing
the newer
Rogue
ones.
Nation or Fallout or whatever. Like, that's what they're seeing.
Yeah. But I would be curious. Like, if we could somehow get like a mass showing of this, like outside this room. Like, I wonder what other people would think about it. Like, I'm curious. Like, maybe people who, haven't seen it since '96 or have never seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wonder how they would feel. But maybe they've seen everything else since then. Like, they've seen all the other ones. I wonder what the general audience would be like. Oh yeah, that was fun, or would they be like,
There's a lot of people out there who are not that big of a fan of action movies, and while this one has a couple of action sequences, this isn't really an action movie at all.
Right. No, I really liked your take about the.
It's a thinking piece. It's espionage. It's murder mystery. It's mistaken identities or different identities, and I think this could actually sway, maybe not into action, but it could sway a lot of people's opinion about that movie as compared to the rest of the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah. Also, like, something that kind of bummed me out is, like, this movie's hard to find in the sense of, like, if you just Google Mission Impossible, they're like, oh,
Everything
you
else.
mean, like, Rogue Nation
You
or
wanna
this or
watch
that.
the
Like,
other seven?
you have to, like, literally type in space 1. Mission Impossible 1, please. I want, yeah. And like Google's you like, are you sure? Because like I think you meant to say,
I had to type in the space 1, and it was on. I mean, of course, I could buy it on Amazon or whatever, but I didn't want to buy it.
Yeah,
and it was only showing for free on one
Mm-hmm.
unnamed streaming service, unless they would like some advertising. They may reach out.
That's right. It's not Tubi because I already plugged them.
It's not Tubi.
the Pirate Bay.
It's this crazy website where you can get anything.
I am not in college anymore. I can afford things, damn it. This movie didn't earn enough money.
No.
It needs more.
Gotta support small cinema, you know?
That's right. Support
Independent artists, man.
Brian de Palma, independent.
80 million.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
God, 80 million. Are you guys... I just... It makes me think of other movies that, like... Primer.
Yeah.
Primer. A very famous movie was made for, like, $8,000.
Yeah.
And then he made a second movie, which is amazing. It's called Upstream Color. And that was made for, like... maybe 10 million.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, nothing. Like if you tell me it was made for millions, I wouldn't believe you.
Yeah.
If you told me it was made for $7,000, I'd be like, yeah, absolutely.
How did they get that?
The fact that this 80 million, they made all of this. I don't know.
So
I think
there's a few really big production pieces that happened. The train, for one, they had to hire that, take it to Scotland to film it because they couldn't do it from the England to France run. So that's one. The second is on the train. All the on top stuff is done in studio, but they had to buy the skydiving wind engine to get that wind effect that they wanted.
Yeah.
So there was only one in Europe. They bought it and brought it to their fucking studio.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of money they're moving around just to do those effects.
wow.
Yep. And then they had to in Prague
Yeah.
for 2 weeks to shut down the streets, set up all the lights. That's I mean, even in 96, that's starting at 10, 15 million just to pay the city, the police, all that stuff, just to get started.
Mm-hmm.
So 80 makes sense to me, knowing all the stuff they had to get to make this movie in 96. And I'm wondering if they only used 80.
Yeah.
Because I remember like when Titanic came out, I think 2 years later, and like they did 100 million and everyone was flipping the fuck out. Like I thought they did that all the time anyways. It's like, once you get up to that level of numbers, why not make it 200 million?
Yeah. Somebody else is footing the bill. Fuck it.
Exactly.
I'm reading, just to make this podcast even longer, I'm currently reading a Roger Corman
Nice.
like autobiography thing. It's fucking trash. Like it's not a real autobiography. Like it's Roger Corman handing a ghostwriter like $20. And he like brags about that kind of stuff all the time. But yeah, no, it's like, it's so fun because it's just like, it's super dated. Like the book was written in like fucking 83 or something. And he's just like, yeah, I don't know how they justify people like, I won't name names, but Schmeev and Schmielschmerg. Like, da-da-da. Like he does this whole like very catty fucking like old Hollywood thing.
God.
And yeah, he's just like, back in my day. And he tells these stories and it's just like, oh. And it's like the whole book is like, so this is how you exploited this woman. You ripped these guys off and never paid them.
Yeah.
You have this in writing that you never paid them. And then so it's just, yeah.
For me, he's one slap away from Lloyd Kaufman.
I know. Uncle Lloyd. I still need to do that one. The ship has sailed, I'm sure.
Gene Siskel gave Carnosaur a thumbs up.
Yeah.
And Roger Ebert never let him forget that.
Hell yeah.
He would bring it up multiple times and be like, you liked Carnosaur.
We have something like that.
Yeah. All right.
And we'll just move on from there. On to the epilogue, which is kind of just the end of the show.
Congrats, you've reached the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're thinking of having some fruit to dangle at the end, but we'll figure it out. But at this moment, having a very special guest, very popular guest.
Oh.
We do our guest pluggables here.
Well, yeah, you can find me on the gram as Redneck Demon Slayer. I'm also on the Tickety Talk as the same name. Trying to get YouTube going, but nobody's watching me there. Don't know what to do about that one. But the other two were doing good. Putting out new content. Put out something spicy just recently, and I'm getting a lot of messages, a lot of TMs saying, "How could you? How could you make this joke?" And I'm like,
that's where you need to hire someone to just like flag all that shit.
Yeah.
Just read it for you.
God, it would be amazing. You get some weird stuff on Instagram, like. You break 100K and just weirdos start messaging back. Like some really weird. Like I'm too scared to go deep because like they separate it. They got like messages from the people that like you're mutuals with, and then general messages.
And the requests.
And then there's the requests.
The requests, yeah.
And then if you go into requests, there's hidden requests.
Yeah.
Because then the Instagram's just like, we don't know.
Yeah.
They're sending attachments, like it's a picture. But that's where you can find me. I'm making content, having fun.
I watched a bunch of it today, man. It's great stuff.
Thank you very
it's
much.
very easy to sit there and just swipe through all of it. Just watch everything. So
Yeah, it was weird. The pandemic hit. I lost all my gigs. I lost, I had an agency and they were sending me out for random stuff. I think the last thing I did was before the pandemic was. I did like an Uber Eats ad in like January of 2020, and it was an ad that wasn't even. When you do these ads, they don't actually have the ad sold, so it's like the company's paying you, and they're like, and you go like, okay, where am I going to be able to see this? Is it going to be like digital? Is it going to be? And then they go, we don't know.
Yeah. It's a spec.
I'm like, you're paying me for. You don't even know. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a guess.
I lost all of it. Lost all of that. Got dropped from my agency. All of it. And became just a stay-at-home dad. And so at one point, I just, I started, making jokes about the stuff that I was watching, which was anime. And kind of blew up from there. It's very, very delightfully unexpected. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
Right on.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for having me. I adore talking about movies. I wish I could do it more.
You can. You're welcome anytime.
To be back.
Yeah, you will.
Most definitely. Javier's got his own.
Yeah, I got follow me at The Films Are All Right currently on Instagram. I also have a Letterboxd page. So what's hot in theaters right now? Well, I'll let you know if it's worth your time. I'm hoping to get my Barbenheimer review up tonight. Well, you guys won't hear this until next week, but yeah.
So it'll be available, hopefully.
Yeah. Look forward to that. So
I just started following.
Yeah.
Right on.
Solid.
Look at that. We're making friends.
It's all about connects, baby. And then, me, I've got nothing except for this beautiful podcast that you should listen to and subscribe and give money to.
Subscribe. Patreon.
Patreon.com. I know you're not doing it because I'm doing it. I'd see you. Yeah.
Do we have tier levels yet? I want to be higher than Chuck. I want to get a higher level. Is that a thing?
All right, if that's how it
is.
If that's if you just want to one up each other, I'll make it.
Is that like a literal thing? Like if I pay enough money to the Patreon, do I get to sit in the seat that's like higher?
I'll name the tier after whoever's paying me the most. How's that?
Hey, don't threaten me with a good time. I grew up in a mildly broken household. I'm always looking for daddy's approval.
I'm looking for the right kind of dad.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. The right kind of dad.
I don't know what we're doing next.
I don't either.
We haven't
Figure it out.
We're tired.
Right. Yeah, a little regroup. We're a little sleepy.
Anyways, thank you for listening.
Oh, and really quick, everyone, raise a glass. To Rolf Saxon.
To Rolf Saxon.
Damn straight.
Rolf Saxon, we love you.
Oh, can we make Rolf Saxon the new Bill Brasky?
He's got a great name.
I know it's a very dated reference, but yeah. To Bill Brasky. To Rolf Saxon. You know, that son of a bitch.
Rolf Saxon once totaled 10 cars, 30 seconds.
But he still was able to close the account in Iowa. To Rolf Saxon. Anyways, I have been Chuck Starzenski.
I've been Luc Londe.
I have been Javier Martinez.
I have been not Taylor Diffenderfer.
For once. Wait, are you...
Oh, shit.
Oh, my God.
Just tear into my flesh.
Work your magic, Luke.
Blood just hits the guy.
Yeah, exactly.
I got really into it, you guys. I'm sorry, I'm a method actor. I don't know.
And we have been the Nostalgia Killers.
Bang, bang.